The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Beautiful, beautiful mid-November day. Outstanding. The sun is shining. It's not that cold outside. Hope your Tuesday is off to a great start. It's officially the Tuesday, November 19th, 2019 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn, a cast of thousands. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx can help your business thrive online. And the first hour of the program is also brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years. Your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. The website, GaddisJewelers.com. The phone number, 901-767-9648. Coming up on the program today, we got a lot going on. We'll be talking University of Memphis athletics with our friend Steve Macy, who joins us every Tuesday. He'll be on with us at 11:25. Don Wade in studio for the Dish, and another Tuesday regular, Connor O'Gara will join us at 12:25 to talk some college football. Of course, tonight, the College Football Playoff Committee will announce their latest top 25. We'll see if there's movement at the top. Also on the program today, Humdinger's Trivia, 2.5 questions, and our NFL Week 11 recap. The week wrapped up last night in Mexico City with the Chiefs knocking off the Chargers 24-17. We'll talk about the Tennessee Vols and Memphis Tigers' future on the basketball court, which does not seem like there is a future after the next two seasons with games this year in Knoxville and next year in Nashville after what Rick Barnes had to say yesterday. We'll talk Grizzlies, who will host the Golden State Warriors, but this is not your mom's or your dad's Golden State Warriors. It's not your kids' Golden State Warriors. They're 2-12, but they'll be at FedEx Forum tonight. And we'll talk about some college football odds as well, including just one that'll blow your mind from the SEC. It's all coming up on a busy Tuesday edition of Middays. And as always, you're welcome to participate on the program. You can hit us up on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255, First Bank text line at 67129, or you can message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. The late George Lapidus would say, Eli, often on his show, Cardinals aren't going to lose again. Right? That was his saying when the Cardinals would go on a winning streak. I'm going to pick it up with the Memphis Hustle. Memphis Hustle, they're not going to lose, period. They are undefeated. They won again yesterday. Josh Jackson did his thing in front of Zach Kleiman and Tayshaun Prince, and that team's a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming into this year that they were going to be good. Now the last couple of games, when they have thrown in D'Anthony Melton to the mix, and then last night added Bruno Caboclo to the mix, although John Conchar was out and will be out for a little bit with an injury. I mean, the lineup they're throwing out there last night is going to be pretty hard for G League teams to beat. They started 3 guys on assignment, a two-way player, and then a guy in Jared Utoff who is a really good G League player. like really good. He's one of those guys who's a dominant G League player, a little bit of a tweener, it's not able to find his way necessarily to the NBA, but is going to be. He's a 20-point scorer. Last night he had 19. He's been 20 or more in 3 of the 5 and had 19 in last night's game.
How long has he been out of college? Just a year or 2 years?
No, Utah.
It's not more than that, is it?
Yeah, it's been a.
He's been out for a while.
I want to say this is his 3rd year.
Okay.
In the G League, but that's just it's a really good team. And Josh Jackson is just. There's a level of athleticism there that most guys in that league don't have. D'Anthony Melton last night went for 27 and did it rather easily. They're 2016 was Utah's draft year.
Okay.
So you're starting that lineup, and then you're bringing off the bench a guy like Dusty Hannas, who's a really good G League player, who's averaging 20 points a game off the bench for them this year.
In his 3rd year now with the Hustle.
And Marcus Teague, who is a very good G League player. That's guys coming off your bench. While they have those guys on assignment, they're going to be very tough to beat. How much longer? I don't expect to see a whole lot of D'Anthony Melton throughout the season. How long Josh Jackson's down there, we shall see. Taylor Jenkins and Zach Kleiman, Tayshaud, all of those. Everybody was there last night watching Jackson. It was actually funny because he played extremely well. And again, I don't think they have any doubts of what he is, especially on the G League. Like, they know what he's going to do on the G League level. Now, I don't know if they maybe didn't know if he would shoot threes as well as he has, although last night wasn't a great night shooting the 3 ball. He's been very good from 3-point range this year, but his athleticism and everything else. And then last night in the game, there's Zach Norvell Jr., rookie from Gonzaga.
Related to Mike Norvell?
I don't believe so. But the college teammate of Brandon Clark for a year there at Gonzaga, and he hits a 3 like right in front of us on Jackson, and something happened, and Jackson, as they were going back down the court, Jackson was saying something, but it looked like Jackson was even kind of complaining to the officials. So I don't know if he was saying that Norvell kicked his leg out on the 3 or whatever. Never really could figure out what that was. But on that trip down the court then, as Yuta Watanabe is knocking down a 3, there's a whistle over off the side, and it's Norvell and Jackson. At this point, Jackson is laying on the ground, and Norvell, he gets up, and he's in the face of Norvell, and I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, Josh, not tonight. They're all here to watch you. Don't get into a scuffle tonight during the game.
Right.
So, you got Taylor Jenkins up there, you got Kleiman, just be on your best behavior tonight. And then they showed the replay, and it actually ended up that Norvell got the flagrant foul, and Jackson got nothing out of it. So he was pretty innocent in the whole thing, which was good for him. I'm like, Josh, if there's one night we don't need you getting into a scuffle, it's probably not while all of the people from the organization are here to watch you.
Have you had a chance to interview him after a game? Yeah,
no,
Josh
Jackson? We have
Jackson?
not had Jackson, no. Did have D'Anthony Melton last night, and he's awesome. He's a great dude to interview.
Well, I like him as a player as well, but Josh Jackson is the one that everybody's waiting to see if he will get that opportunity. I asked you Thursday with 2.5 questions, will he be on the Grizzlies before Christmas? And it's not even a guarantee he'll be on the Grizzlies at all. But Kleiman being down there and Tayshaun Prince, and of course they're down there a lot. It's such an easy trip. But Taylor Jenkins also being down there, I think it might happen sooner than later. So that's good. The Hustle are a fun team to watch if you want to see some G League basketball. And the next home game, as Eli mentioned yesterday, is next Monday against the main team, which has Taco Fall.
And they are the only other undefeated team right now.
Has to be a Taco Monday. They have to do some kind of.
It will continue. Hopefully, I'd like to see both teams undefeated for that game. It could be a lot of fun. They're Taco's playing well for them, and they have been really good. So it could be. And the Hustle don't have. I'm not sure who exactly they will try and match up on Taco Fall. They don't have the big bangers. So it's Utah is more of the finesse five. So it could be a interesting battle to see how they try and defend Taco Fall in that game. But
is it illegal with the rules that you can't put somebody on the shoulders of somebody else?
I'm not sure.
To guard?
I don't think that is one of the little experimental rules they have gone with yet. I tell you what,
put Dusty Hannahs on top of Udolph, and there you go.
The free throw thing has been interesting this year. I tell you what, it does like it. Though their games are fast paced. The G League games are fast paced. It's up and down the court, just craziness to begin with. I mean, last night there were, I think it was 214 field goal attempts.
Wow.
I think it was,
final
I think it was
score was
109 to 105. I think it was 214 field goal attempts and something like 85 or something 3-pointers, 90 3-pointers attempted in that game.
The final score was 137-120. That's 257 points, for goodness sake.
And the Hustle did not score in like the last 3 minutes of the game. They were going for a team record point scored in a game that was just 141, and they didn't score like the last 3 minutes of the game. They stalled out at 137. But I mean, it is just, and then now with this free throw rule where it's always just the one free throw, like there's no breathers in the game. Like it is, if you just want to see constant action, it's awesome because you just don't have breaks. Like every foul, if it is a shooting foul, is just the one free throw until the last 2 minutes. So like the players, like coaches, you have to they don't ever get a rest out there. Like it is foul, shoot a free throw, let's go. We're back up and down this court.
Explain that again. So you get the one free throw. Do you get just 1 point or 2 points?
No, it's either 2 or 3 or what? Yeah, depending. It's 1 for 2, 1 for 3, or 1 for 1 if it's an and one situation. Until the last 2 minutes of the game, and then they go to all of the normal rules where you have to make 2 free throws.
So if you're fouled shooting a 3,
you're shooting one
free throw, and if you miss, you get 0 points out of that.
You get 0 or 3.
Wow, that's interesting. I remember that when it came down, but I forgot it was being implemented. Do you like it?
I like it again because of the way it
the pace.
Again, you're talking constant action. Like you don't have lulls at all. Like it's just, we're going.
But the NBA,
I don't think they will ever bring it to the NBA. That's, the other rules that they have brought to the NBA, I thought they would bring to the NBA. And I think they're good rules in the 14-second shot clock reset on an offensive rebound, which was a no-brainer. And then the coaches challenge. This one,
it messes with history. It messes with statistics.
I don't think it will ever make it to the NBA. Maybe they try some sort of it, but I don't think it will. I don't think the NBA can pull that one off.
Pace was never an issue. I mean, I know back in the day when they had no shot clock and 4 corners and peach baskets, it's a little bit different ballgame. But modern basketball, whether it be the NBA or even college, I don't think anybody's ever gone into a game as a fan and said, man, this is so long. It's taking so long. Baseball is a whole different ballgame, even to some extent at times football. But basketball's never been an issue. So I don't think that it will catch on. I don't think it'll catch on. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it and players are adapting to it because that's interesting. Getting fouled, shooting a 3, as long as it's not in the last, what'd you say, 2 minutes?
Last 2 minutes is all.
Last 2 minutes, you're getting 1 free throw. You're making it for 3, or you're missing it and getting 0. There's no second and third free throw. That's interesting. All right, let's talk about the topic that was hot and heavy yesterday that continues to be a topic of interest today. And that's the comments made by one Rick Barnes. Enemy number 1, I guess. What do they call that? The notorious what is it? The public enemy number 1. There you go. Public enemy number 1 by Memphis fans, of course. So Rick Barnes said he doesn't think that the Tennessee-Memphis series will be renewed after the next 2 games. Remember, it was a 3-year deal that was signed. Tom Bone was the AD at the University of Memphis when he reached an agreement with the Tennessee officials. They played 1 game last year at FedEx Forum. They have a game coming up in December at Thompson Bowling. And then next year they'll play in Nashville. But for the future, Rick Barnes says he doesn't think it'll continue. Now, after what happened last year and the things that Penny Hardaway said and the things that Penny accused them of, I can understand Barnes, and he won't say it's because of that. But to not have this series continuing And already the drama that has been built in one game between Rick Barnes and Penny Hardaway, and the long-standing drama between Tennessee and Memphis and their history and their fan bases, this stinks because we know football is probably not going to happen. It's ridiculous for Tennessee to try to play Memphis, especially with the way Memphis is playing right now. You're going to schedule Memphis, and a good chance you're going to lose here, at least now. History will tell you Tennessee will win most of the time, right? They only lost the one time in Memphis. Who knows about the future? But I could see them wanting to stay away from Pigskin. Basketball is ridiculous. And I know we go back to Pastner, and Pastner didn't want to play the series, and all of a sudden they were playing. I think it's a no-brainer. And I know Penny wants to play, and he wants to play all these local and regional teams. But do you understand kind of where Barnes is coming from after what happened last year? Whether he admits it or not?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, I don't think he would admit it, but yeah, I think that certainly has something to do with it. Like that, basically.
Well, didn't Penny say like
he was called a
F
liar?
you, Barnes?
Like they were called liars and all of these things. But it's unfortunate that we are headed to a path. In football, Memphis, I don't know how much we'll see against any of the regional opponents anymore. Probably won't see Ole Miss again. Probably won't see Tennessee again. Maybe a once in a while, but they don't, because those and I understand it in football. Like Ole Miss and these SEC schools, they don't want to play home and homes with Memphis because they would rather play the home games against anybody else. It makes much more sense. They got the 2-for-1 coming up with Arkansas. If maybe you get some of those, but it's going to be hard to get home and homes with any of these teams because there's no reason for any of the SEC schools to be doing home and homes with the University of Memphis anymore.
So you think it's more of that as opposed to, well, Memphis has turned into a pretty good football program. Why play them? There's a chance we'll lose.
It's the combination of that. It's like, why take a chance of losing a non-conference game, and why would I go there to do it? Like, we could host anybody, and pay them.
We could host Presbyterian.
We could pay them $1 million,
Christian.
and we're still going to make a bunch of money off of the game.
I mean, regardless of how Penny handled the situation last year, I feel like it sort of adds to the drama of the rivalry. And I feel like renewing it would be good for both fan bases in the fact that you have that to go to, and I think it would generate money for both schools.
Yeah, but here's Barnes, and I'm trying to get into his head. Here's Barnes. First of all, he was very close, extremely close with Tubby Smith. So he's not happy with the way that all went down. Number two, I guarantee he's looking at Penny and going, this pompous, you know what? I mean, here's a guy, all right, he was a great player, and all of a sudden now I don't need this. I really don't. We're in the SEC. We play a very competitive conference schedule. I'll schedule other blue bloods if I want. And recruiting-wise, even though we've had players from Memphis in the past, I'm not really going into Memphis much. I'm going and getting guys nationally. That would be the argument from his point of view. But from the fan base, I guarantee you that a lot of fans, if you gave them truth serum, would want to play Memphis. They'd want to play Memphis in basketball because that's a good win if you can get that win like they did last year.
Well, so football, it's going away, and I get it. Basketball, like, there's plenty of slots in your non-conference schedule that I think you can find a way to play this game. Now, Tennessee fans here in Memphis, I love it. Do Tennessee fans in Knoxville get that worked up to play Memphis? I don't know. Do the University of Tennessee people in Knoxville care if Memphis comes in every other year?
You talking about basketball or football? Basketball?
Yeah.
Well, after what happened last year, I guarantee you they can't wait for this year's game, and they probably would like to play in the future because they probably don't like Penny Hardaway. And now it's that, like you said, Gabe, it's that added drama to a series that has...
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what Tennessee fans... I know Tennessee fans here love it because it's Memphis. But I don't know if fans over there care if they play Memphis or somebody else.
I think basketball for those two schools has become a rivalry over the years. You talk about 2008. You talk about last year's drama. You talk about just the past of Memphis basketball actually has some history of being good. Whereas the football program, not so much. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably not in the discussion for being a rivalry. But I feel like as far as basketball programs go, that's about as good as you can get for an in-state, geographical rivalry.
There's a very good history, and it is a history that includes two very good programs, not always, not consistently, but a lot of times extremely good programs. And you're right about football. Now, it's a different ballgame what's happening here the last 5 or 6 years with Memphis, but if you look over the course of history, it was just that's where you got the whole little brother thing. Just we're going to beat up on the little brother again. You had the one major upset when they beat Peyton Manning here in Memphis, but other than that, it's been one-sided. But now you look at it and you go, I don't know if I want to play Memphis football. But this is basketball, and I know people want to connect the two. You don't necessarily have to connect the two. I love that fact that Penny took over and wants to play these regional games. But if you ruffle the feathers, and I'm not saying Penny was wrong with what he said, how he thought it was going down as far as the extracurriculars after last year's game. But
he was wrong.
Well,
if the video proved he was wrong.
Well, maybe what he had anticipated, maybe what he said he thought he saw was wrong, but maybe what he anticipated happening in his mind, he was right. Remember, he also thinks he's absolutely 100% right about the situation with Wiseman, whereas the NCAA will tell you, well, you're not, and that's why he's sitting out. You can call it stubbornness or whatever, but I like that Penny comes in with two guns pulled out of the holster and ready to rock and roll. But here's Rick Barnes, a seasoned veteran who's been around a long time, and he's just looking at it going, I don't need this crap. What do I get out of it? So what? Even if I get a win, I don't care.
See, my thing is this. So Rick Barnes says that yesterday, that he doesn't think that the series will continue. In Knoxville, among their fans, was there a feeling of, oh man, that sucks. I really like playing Memphis. And I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know what it is.
Blake
I've never
Toppmeyer
been over there, so I don't. But I don't know that today. That's a topic of conversation in Knoxville. Man, I hate that. I like playing that. I like the fact that we play that series.
Let me say this. First of all, the question came up from Knoxville media because Rick Barnes answered the question, so it was in somebody's mind to talk about the Memphis series. Just for a programming note, Blake Toppmeyer, who joins us periodically, will join us on Thursday at 11, and even though it's primarily football that he covers, we'll ask him about basketball and really the rivalry or the history with Memphis and Tennessee and whether or not fans do care about that from the Tennessee point of view. We know from the Memphis point of view that they would love to see it going. They would love to see it in all sports, especially now. You're a long-suffering Tiger football fan that has had now this great run. Right now, he's like, yeah, I want Tennessee right now. Give me Tennessee now. We can beat Tennessee. We feel good about what we've done the last 5. And, of course, you don't have Tennessee. They're not, because they're smart enough to know, we're not going near that one. We're not going near Memphis. They are. Think about this. This came down yesterday. Memphis is one of only 5 programs currently ranked in the top 25 in football and men's basketball. One of 5. They are number 18 in football. They are number 16 in basketball. This is the AP poll, the Associated Press poll. They join Ohio State, Oregon, Baylor, and Auburn. That's unreal. Unreal, this run for University of Memphis athletics.
Couple of texts here on the First Bank text line. Wayne says, you're darn right people in Knoxville care about Memphis. They went to the state legislature to keep Memphis out of the SEC back in the day. Well, that has nothing to do with whether they care about playing them in basketball or not. I'm saying, do their fans really care about the Memphis basketball series? I'm not saying I know whether they do or not. I have no idea whether that resonated in Knoxville yesterday. Like, oh man, that sucks. I'd really like to play Memphis. Keep playing Memphis.
Well, look, you get outside the conference, and they have rivalries obviously within the conference. But you get outside the conference, and you tell the Tennessee fans you have a chance to play Memphis or name your other team. I think most of them are going to say they'd love to play Memphis and beat Memphis. I guarantee you they were basking in the glory last year after they came to Memphis and knocked them off, even though it was a Penny Hardaway team that he inherited and not many of his recruits. So there's that. I think it's not at the top of their list as far as importance, but I think it is important. I can't speak for all Tennessee fans. I know some Tennessee fans around here like playing Memphis.
Well, again, I know here they do because it's the local. I mean, it's easy. It's an easy game to go to every couple of years. But I don't know. But I have no idea.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they like it because of the convenience of travel. They like it because they like those bragging rights. They like beating Memphis in football for them in the history was no big deal. But basketball is a big deal. And especially this year. Now they're in the rankings. They weren't ranked going into the season. Memphis was the team that was ranked this year. Now, Tennessee was the ranked team last year, the better team. And in a hard-fought game, they ended up winning by 10, I believe it was, at FedEx Forum. Now, Memphis will go in as the team picked to have this great season. And Tennessee looked to be not quite a rebuild, but when you lose 3 stars, you wonder, even though they have a pretty good roster. And they have shown it so far with a huge win over ranked Washington over the weekend on Sunday. So that one, we'll be counting down those days. As soon as the month turns over to December, we will be counting down those days for Memphis and Tennessee. The question will be whether or not James Wiseman will be playing.
Got some other texts we'll get to here when we come back on this topic. If you want to chime in, you certainly can, either from the Memphis side or Tennessee side. 67129 is the First Bank text line. 360-8255 is the First Bank phone line.
This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells. Funny thing about the holidays is, nothing flies by faster.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh.
Well, actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast. That's because for a very limited time, you'll find some of our best offers on our most popular models. But don't wait. Offers end January 2nd. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Lexus of Memphis.
The Man Cave sale's happening now at Family Leisure. 3-piece theater seating sets, only $9.99. Massage chairs, starting at $6.99. Pool tables, now at $14.99. And shuffleboard tables, well, they start at $19.99. Still need to close your pool down? Call Family Leisure to get on the schedule. Mention this ad, $20 off. Complete your Man Cave today at Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Dirt happens, as well as debris, dust, and damage. And when they happen to you, you need good, clean, fast service. You need Hilo Commercial Services. Hilo specializes in construction, commercial, food plant, and industrial cleaning with customized service just for you. Hilo is also an expert at high dusting to clean hard-to-reach places. When dirt happens, call Hilo Commercial Services, 901-277-6733, or visit hilocommercial.com. Hilo Commercial Services, good, clean, and fast for you.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Brass monkey, that monkey.
Well, how would you like a full year with no house payment? Go to sports56whbq.com now to enter our Home for the Holidays contest, and you have a chance to win a full year of mortgage or rent payments. That's right, win a year's worth of house payments. Go to sports56whbq.com to enter. I would say that would be a very nice Christmas present.
I would like that. I'm not eligible to win, but I would like that.
Am I eligible?
You are not.
Damn.
I mean, that's...
Is Gabe eligible?
No. If you could just wipe away a house payment for a year, that's a lot of money in your pocket.
Significant others eligible?
Probably.
I don't know. I'd have to look at I gotta
look at the fine print. We need the fine print.
Right. I would have to look at the fine print on that one. So, looking at Tennessee's basketball schedule this year, with all of these with all the in-season tournaments and events and all of these
SEC
things
challenges
that come,
and things like that.
So, like this year, they've already played Washington. They've got Florida State coming up in the Emerald Coast Classic, and then either Purdue or VCU. They've got Memphis. They've got Cincinnati. They've got Wisconsin, and then they've got Kansas in their non-conference schedule. I mean, part of it, I wonder too, if Rick Barnes. I mean, this is because this is the mentality, like with what the SEC, because the SEC has gotten a lot better in basketball. And he looked, you're going to play some of these preseason tournaments, or they got the SEC Big 12 Challenge, and they're going to play a pretty good team in that every single year. Be part of this may just be like, listen, we don't need any more tough games. Like we're good. Our schedule's tough enough. Now I hate that because to me, in the world of college basketball, it'd be one game like rather than playing. I mean, because then you look at the rest of the schedule, and it is. UNC Asheville, Murray State, Alabama State, Chattanooga.
You need to fill a home schedule.
Florida A&M, Jacksonville State. Like, to me, I would like to you'll see less of those things. But, yes, teams know that home games make me money. Like, even whoever that is, we're still going to sell a bunch of tickets to that game, and people are going to come, and they're going to buy concessions, and they're all going to do all that stuff. And so we're going to make money off that game rather than going to play in Memphis.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of those tournaments you're playing, the Emerald Coast deal or this or that, tournaments during Thanksgiving or Christmas are neutral court games. So you have to fill the home schedule. So you just mentioned some of the teams they're filling the home schedule with. It's not that daunting and it's not that appealing. So at least with a Memphis, you could probably do a deal for a home and home. I know this particular deal they have is a home, and a neutral. But you could probably do a home and home so you can have every other year a quality team coming into Thompson Bowling to go along with everybody else you've added to your schedule. Because a lot of the bigger name teams that you're playing on a neutral court.
Do you know what the series is they have at Cincinnati?
How many years?
I wonder if that's a similar. Wonder if they're going to do the same thing there that they're doing with Memphis.
Where would they play that neutral court game?
Nashville.
For Cincinnati? Maybe. Maybe Gabe can look that up. Maybe it's just a home and home.
What's Cincinnati from Nashville? 3-4 hours?
No, it's not that far.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing as Memphis. And
you may be right.
I don't know. Because they're playing at Cincinnati this year, so I don't know. I wonder if they did a similar thing with them as they did with Memphis, or what that series is.
It's just a home and home for this year and then next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it could easily be just a home and home. All right, let's go to the First Bank phone lines, 360-8255. Alan has joined us. Hi, Alan. How are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
They drew 19,000 a game last year. They sold 16,000 season tickets. So they don't, and they've had home and home with Kansas. They've had home and home with North Carolina. He can get a home and home with about anybody he wants because he's so respected.
Mm-hmm.
But your coach told him to get the F out of here, and he got the F out of here.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty much that. Again, I can't speak for Rick, and unless he comes out and says the exact reason why. To me, it seems like that's the reason.
It wasn't a very nice thing if he wanted to keep the thing going to tell him to go. I mean, look at you, Greg. You're a tough guy. You wouldn't want to keep a relationship going after somebody said that to you, would you?
No. It wowould be tough for me to want to continue to reach a series deal with a coach that just told me to F off. No.
I watched them Sunday, and they are really good right this year. I think it's crazy, but they're really good.
Well, Barnes, who was questioned when he took the job, whether or not they made the right hire, seems to be the right hire.
He's got the number 4 recruiting class, too.
Yeah, they're coming in. He's an old-school guy, but he's getting these young players to play for him. They've been really good, and so far this year they have been, I think, surprisingly good.
He improves them. And you're like, Pons is kind of like Williams now.
Yeah, he stepped up really nice. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate the phone call. 360-8255, First Bank phone lines. You can hit us up on the First Bank text line at 67129. Message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Comments that Penny made, again, which certainly had the backing of everybody here, does it alienate him from the possibility of not getting future deals with teams like Tennessee when you say something like that? That's the question.
Some text messages here. The First Bank text line. Somebody says, take away Rick Barnes being bent out of shape regarding Penny's comments. It makes all the sense in the world for Penny to want to play all the local Power 5 schools, but it does not make sense on the flip side. Football more than basketball, at least until Memphis gets in a Power 5 conference. If there's a good chance you might get beat, you'd rather get beat by a big-name school and have the benefits of a national TV audience and recruiting and attendance rather than Memphis. If one of the local Power 5 schools beats Memphis, they get no respect for the win. Memphis basketball is a nationally renowned program and helps everybody's RPI to play Memphis in basketball. Recruiting-wise, though, I think it's not very advantageous for Tennessee and the other regional schools, simply because there's so much talent in the Memphis area, and losing to Memphis doesn't help with trying to recruit those players. Somebody else says, would not play this game if I'm Memphis unless they play in football. Zero benefits for Memphis.
Well, let me go back to the prior text. It was a good text and a lot of good things and a lot of things I agree with. Obviously, football, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does for your fan base, easy travel, convenience, things of that nature. Basketball, as he pointed out, or she pointed out, I'm not sure who, the RPI certainly is lifted by playing a Tigers team that for most years is going to give you that punch you need. Obviously, there were a couple of down years here recently, but certainly this year it's very advantageous to have Memphis on your schedule. As far as the recruiting deal is concerned, I don't know if that's not overblown.
I don't believe the ability to see the team one time in the city every 2-3 years. Some recruit's going to go, okay, now I'm going to go there because I'm going to get to play here in Memphis every 3 years.
I mean, Chris Moore, the kid from West Memphis, just picked Auburn. And Auburn doesn't play Memphis. But if Auburn played Memphis and played at FedEx Forum and lost, I don't know if he would have said, you know what, I really want to go to Auburn over Memphis, but because Memphis beat them by 3 on that nice three-pointer at the buzzer, I'm going to pick Memphis. I don't think it makes a difference.
One game every few years matters to recruiting. That's why I never understood why Josh didn't want to play them, because he thought somehow like letting them come into the city to play a game was going to, all the recruits were going to flock to Tennessee now. It doesn't make sense.
The other point that texter made about the plethora of talent is apropos. It's right on. I mean, look at the kids that are playing here and who's coming in to visit. Whether it's Kentucky, whether it's whoever, name the Blue Bloods coming in to see Kennedy Chandler or the guys that were interested in Chris Moore, which included Arkansas, Memphis certainly among them as far as teams that were interested in trying to sign him or at least get a commitment from him, and he ends up going to Auburn. So I think it's overblown. If you lose to that team, then you're going to blow a chance to recruit that kid from that city. I don't buy it.
And the other person who said there's zero benefit for Memphis playing Tennessee in basketball, well, right now that's not true. I mean, Tennessee's a good program.
They're a very good program.
And I mean, you can make the argument that depending on if you're not going to play Tennessee, tell me who you're replacing them with. Tennessee doesn't need another quality game. The SEC schedule alone, plus the non-conference that they get. But they're going to get Kentucky coming in every year. Florida's coming in every year. LSU coming in. I mean, they're going to get good basketball home games every single year just from their conference. Memphis is the one that needs good home games, and Tennessee provides that right now. So to say there's no benefit to playing Tennessee in basketball, that's just wrong.
Absolutely. And look, you're not going to get a 2-for-1 or anything like that. You're going to get a home and home, or in the case of this current contract, a home, and a neutral. But you need that, even if it's every other year, as you said, to get quality teams to come to Memphis. Because look at the schedule that Memphis has, their home schedule for this year. They're playing Ole Miss, which is a solid team. I mean, certainly a capable team, but nobody would confuse Ole Miss for any blue blood in basketball. And then Georgia comes in, which is a name, but it's also a program that's trying to be turned around by Tom Crean. They do have Edwards, one of the top players, which is an added attraction. But after that, the home games that are on the schedule are teams like Alcorn State, who they just played, UIC, South Carolina State, Little Rock tomorrow night, Jackson State, New Orleans, Bradley. These are not real appealing. So to have Tennessee every other year, Arkansas every other year, Ole Miss every other year, Mississippi State. This is what Penny would love to do. He would love to do that, and I would think the school would love to do that as well because it's very attractive for the fans to look at that home schedule. But you can't tell a coach to have off, basically.
Like, you just look at Tennessee's conference schedule this year, the home games they'll get LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Florida, and Auburn. I mean, they could sell season tickets based on their conference schedule. Like, Memphis has to sell season tickets based on non-conference games and just the idea that it's Memphis basketball, because your conference, other than Cincinnati, Houston right now a little bit, maybe UConn UConn's leaving, Wichita State if they get back to what they were, like, there's no premier games in your conference. If you know Kentucky's coming in every year and Florida's coming in every year, they know they're getting some good home games.
Well, and Alan's point is they're getting huge crowds no matter what, no matter who's on the schedule. So it's not necessarily that advantageous from a financial standpoint to have Memphis in because they're already getting good gate. But I'm still telling you that I believe Tennessee fans overall would much rather see their team try to knock off Memphis than try to knock off Washington. And even though Washington was a great win for them, 20th ranked, it's not as appealing as if you had the Tigers on your schedule.
But that's a neutral site. Again, they're going to play these neutral site.
No, I'm saying if it's home. If they're playing any team, I just use Washington as an example because they just played them. But they're still, I think, interested in knocking off, and the whole narrative of Tennessee, big brother, Memphis, little brother. I still think fans, even in Knoxville, buy into that. Let me go to the First Bank phone lines, and Keith is next. Hi, Keith.
Hey, Greg and Eli.
Hey.
Yeah, so, I don't see it. See, I think Penny has the right attitude. I think it's good for both teams. I think it's good for Rick Barnes. I think it's good for Memphis because they both boost each other's RPI, especially right now. I agree with Peter and CJ this morning. I mean, it's almost like a couple years ago or 3 years ago, whenever this series was developed, Barnes was like, well, they're just Memphis is middle of the pack. So I want to play them now, so maybe it helps me in recruiting.
Right.
Now that Memphis is getting higher in the rankings, now he's like, well, no, I'm not sure I want to play y'all anymore because it may be hurting me in recruiting. And it's almost like a wussy attitude.
I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is that he was put back by the way Penny handled the situation last year, the little extracurriculars, and what he said.
Come on. Well, he's still being a wussy, man. Come on. This is forward.
He might be a wussy, Keith, but I don't think he's afraid to play them. They just beat him last year.
I think it goes more, but I think Rick Barnes is one of the old school guys who doesn't like the fact that Tubby was ousted and Penny got the job.
I think that's a big part of it too.
And then Penny comes in and says the things he did. I don't think Rick Barnes is real fond
I
of
think
Penny
Barnes
and the whole situation.
Barnes
here.
is. I believe, and again, this is just speculation. That Barnes is like, look, we already play a rugged schedule in the SEC. We have good non-conference opponents. I don't need this. I've been around the game for a long time. I don't need to be dealing with this guy.
Well, he's wrong. He does need it. He needs it for his RPI, if nothing else. He needs it.
But no, he doesn't, because the conference gives him that.
No, he still needs Memphis. He still needs them.
They're playing Kansas, Kentucky, Florida, Auburn this year, Wisconsin. They don't need Memphis for one RPI game.
Well, when you rank number, what are we?
16.
16? Yeah. When you're ranked 16, it will help.
All right.
It will help.
Thank you, Keith.
It
Appreciate
will
it.
help, but he doesn't need it. If they don't have it, it's not that big of an effect on them. I mean, it's
No, I understand.
They're loaded with opponents that are going to be great for their RPI.
Right. I understand Keith's point that it's a quality game on your schedule to play Memphis where they are right now, but your point is also well taken. They already play a strong enough schedule where minus one game off of that schedule is not going to kill their RPI. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call my friend Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Tell him I sent you. You can go online to find out more about the company as well at newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. Remember, they can't tell you who you have to use for whatever you need fixed. For a new roof, they can't tell you have to go with this company. You get to choose. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. And remember, Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing. So whether it's your home or maybe a business owner or property manager out there listening, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem with your building, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on all roofs and all their work. Satisfaction guaranteed. They do work around the home. That's the restoration part. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can install shingles, put up gutters and fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. So whether if it's a new roof you need or whether it's work around the home, it's quality work at a very reasonable price. Locally owned and operated. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough today at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. We'll continue this conversation when we return. Final segment in hour number 1. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming up at 11 o'clock. 2.5 questions on the docket as well. And then our guests, Steve Macy, Don Wade, Connor O'Gara, talk some NFL as well. A busy Tuesday edition of Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Hey, you guys, the Liquor, Wine, and Beer Oasis awaits you at the Spirit Shop with a special invite for Thursday, November the 21st. Join the live remote 3 to 6 p. with Wolo and Stats. Take advantage of holiday pre-Christmas deals on your favorite liquor or wine. Stock up. We're giving away 2 pairs of VIP tickets to the U of M and Ole Miss game, 2 $25 gift cards for Neil's Bar and Grill, and Wedgwood Golf Course 4 rounds and 2 golf carts. See you at the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar, the Little Log Cabin Liquor, Wine, and Beer Oasis.
Your nationally ranked Memphis Tigers football team is back home on the Friday after Thanksgiving against rivals Cincinnati. This is our city, our team, and our stadium. We showed the world what Memphis can do when we all stand together. And now it is time to do it again. Tickets start at just $20 and are available now at GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. It is Memphis Tigers football versus Cincinnati on the Friday after Thanksgiving. Sponsored by Sedgwick.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
More text here on the First Bank text line. Somebody says, will Louisville play Memphis? I would rather see that. I don't know if they've had any conversations with Louisville about a possible basketball series.
That's a great history.
Somebody else says they talk about Tennessee. They cheered with a standing ovation for Texas A&M in the Elite Eight while waiting for their game in San Antonio. They hate us as much as we do them.
I believe that.
Somebody else says, a long-suffering Tiger fan. I was there 20 years ago watching bad football, and I have no desire to play any SEC school. Why give them and their recruits and the benefit of the city? They're never going to give the Tigers the benefits of their conference. Give me home and homes with Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. We have proved that we don't need them to fill our stadium, so SEC, stay the F out of Memphis. Okay, let's not get cocky because you filled the stadium one time. Like, let's be honest here. One time now in the history of the program, you filled the stadium without the help of one of the SEC schools.
And you filled the stadium because of the whole connection with game day and trying to put your best foot forward. And it was a great, great, great day, and Memphis fans really stepped up. But no, you do need that gate. To have an SEC team at the Liberty Bowl Stadium once a year is really helpful financially, because you're not getting that from the likes of Southern University. It would be nice. Now, if you could get 50,000 every game, it wouldn't matter. Then that person's text would be right on target.
As far as football recruiting, I mean, like, the SEC is always going to recruit better than Memphis. That's just how it works. Like, because in football, you have a chance to go do other things when you go to an SEC school or a Power 5.
Yes.
Recruiting does not matter in this. Memphis is not going to get 5 stars over, Tennessee or Ole Miss because they're Memphis. It's just
but
not
I
how it
think
works.
to have a home and home, if you can get a home and home with the regional teams, where one is in every year, right? You're playing. If you could play 2 SEC teams, and I know Coach wouldn't want to do this, but if you could play 2 SEC teams a year, one home, one away, and then the next year it flips, and you have that for a while, whether it's Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, I like that. Rather than TCU or Texas Tech.
Another text says they should play in both every year. Tennessee shouldn't pick and choose when they want to play football. Memphis basketball doesn't need Tennessee basketball, so both or none. In the ideal world, yes, there's no doubt. I mean, it makes sense for Memphis to play Ole Miss. It makes sense for Memphis to play Tennessee, but that's just not the way the real world is going to work. It's not going to be that way.
Yesterday,
and again, to say Memphis basketball doesn't need nobody needs either any of this. Like, they're going to survive without him. This is not oh my gosh, how are we ever going to go along without playing this game? It's good for the fans is the main thing.
I think it's a very important game for this year, certainly, because you look at the American, you don't even have a ranked team in the American. Tennessee's arguably the second best team on your schedule this year.
Right. Basketball.
No doubt.
See, basketball, here's the thing. As long as you have a pretty decent bunch of non-conference opponents and you do well in your conference, you're going to be fine. Remember, in the world of college basketball, you get to the NCAA tournament, you have a chance to win a national championship. Football is a completely different story. But, yeah, I think you're right. To be able to have a couple of these named opponents, whether it be regional or just a national blue blood, I think is important. That's what Penny's shooting for. He'd love to play Kentucky. But you can't go, we'll play Kentucky 2 straight games on the road one year, and then the next year we'll go right back to Rupp. You need home and homes, and some of those teams do not want to play at home. Cal doesn't want to come to Memphis. He might play in Nashville, but he's not going to play in Memphis.
Somebody says, let Vols basketball go crying. Somebody else says, didn't Penny's comments to Barnes have to do something with when the Tennessee tried to start a fight that they had their fist going by Memphis bench?
Yes.
Yeah, that was what started.
That was the incident.
Penny said they came with clenched fists, and that wasn't true. And then Barnes responded, I think, on his coach's show, and then Penny responded back, and they kept going back and forth.
Got a little bit out of hand. But people love that Penny doesn't, and I love that Penny doesn't back down to anybody. Again, it may alienate yourself from, in this particular instance, Tennessee and future games, but some people would say, who cares? Others would say that's disappointing. But I think Rick Barnes, whether you want to call it petty or not, or intelligent, is basically saying, why do I want to deal with this down the road? But Memphis and Tennessee this December, what's the date on that game?
It's was it 20-something?
No, it's earlier than that, isn't it? It's in Knoxville. That game, I just hope to God that
December 14th,
that the Tigers are full staffed. In other words, James Wiseman is ready to go. Because if they did not look, they could still win the game. Obviously, they can win the game even without Wiseman. But if they didn't win that game, then the argument and the narrative would be like, well, if we had James Wiseman, we would beat you. I hope that both teams are healthy and have all their players available, and then we'll see what happens. Because it was, even though they lost last year, Memphis, they played well. They played a tough game. They were overmatched by far against that Tennessee squad last year, and they played them tooth and nail all the way down to the wire.
I hope nobody poops on the floor.
Oh, God, you had to bring that up. It's lunchtime, for goodness sakes.
That's my goal for the game this year. Let's get through it with nobody going to the bathroom on the floor of the arena.
Yesterday, it was announced by the American Conference that they will have no divisions, 11 teams. Of course, Connecticut leaves. It doesn't mean they won't add a 12th team in the future. And they listed all the teams' home and away schedules for the next 2 years. I announced the 2020 schedule yesterday. I want to give you both real quick before we take the break. The 2020, once again, if you missed it yesterday, they will play UCF. This is the Tigers. They will play UCF, Houston, USF, and Temple at home. UCF, very appealing, but I don't know if you're going to get 59,000. The away schedule, Cincinnati, Navy, SMU, and Tulane. You miss ECU and Tulsa. But in 2021, you get ECU at home, along with Navy, SMU, and Tulane, and you go to Orlando to play UCF. You go to Houston, Temple, and Tulsa. You will not play Cincinnati and South Florida in 2021. Again, that's according to the American Conference, which sent down that information yesterday. We will take a break. Coming up, hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infinity of Memphis, and online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails. I love fall. The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Drew invites you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
9-yard line. Darnold trying to extend this drive, throws off his big foot off balance, and he's
Love it! Cruising along on a Tuesday with a little police and NFL play-by-play. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road. That's just north of I-40. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Also, the second hour of the program brought to you by the Gold Strike Casino Resort in Tunica and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill.
It is time for our weekly Humdingers Trivia, your opportunity to win a $25 gift card to Humdingers over at Poplar and Massey. You can head on over there and enjoy some great food at great affordable prices, very healthy options as well. Today is Tuesday. That means it's Taco Tuesday. You could go get their fish or chicken tacos, just $2 each. Of course, you could also go with any of the other great items on the menu, including the many grilled fish options, maybe the crispy fish and chips, chicken options from the boneless piri-piri breast to the piri-piri half chicken to the crispy chicken tenders, salads, sandwiches, all kinds of different things for you to choose from at Humdingers. And you can check out the entire menu on their website at humdingersrestaurant.com. Get more information on what they've got over there. Also catering, and with the holidays just around the corner, if you want them to cater a holiday party, they could do that as well with some great items, very healthy stuff, good stuff, and affordable as well. So talk to them about their catering options. You can get more information on that on the website as well at, again, humdingersrestaurant.com. The first person to answer today's question correctly via text at 67129. 67129 will be the winner of the $25 gift card to Humdingers. If you have never signed up for our text team, you do need to first text 56JOIN to 67129. Just 56JOIN, and then once you get the little automated response, you're signed up. You can text us or any of the shows anytime here on Sports 56. So here is today's question. We've been talking a lot about Memphis versus Tennessee in this first hour, but this Saturday, of course, it is Memphis versus Ole Miss over at FedEx Forum. The last time that Memphis beat Ole Miss in basketball, who was the leading scorer for the Tigers? The last time Memphis beat Ole Miss in basketball, who was the leading scorer for the Tigers? Don't need the amount of points or anything else, just who it was. Text in 67129. First to get it right will get the $25 gift card to Humdingers. Last time Memphis beat Ole Miss in basketball, who was the leading scorer for the Tigers?
Vanderbilt makes an announcement that I thought would go the other way. I didn't think they would announce anything. I thought that Derek Mason would be let go at the end of the season. But AD Malcolm Turner has come out and says, I want to make it very clear that Derek Mason will be our head football coach moving forward. Coach Mason has my full support, and I've committed to working with him to ensure our football program has the necessary resources and support to succeed. I like Derek Mason. I thought up until this year he did a pretty good job with all the restrictions you have from an academia standpoint and how tough it is in the SEC. I thought he did a pretty good job. This year he went into the season saying he had his best team ever, and they have been awful. But Derek Mason will return. So with Matt Luke coming back, Derek Mason coming back, you had the South Carolina AD, Ray Tanner, coming out and saying that Will Muschamp is his head coach. And, of course, I didn't think they would make a move with the South Carolina win over Georgia, despite the fact they won't be going bowling unless they upset Clemson. So the only move, Arkansas, right? There's nothing else unless Mark Stoops were to get, let's say, the Florida State job, and that would open up Kentucky. And unless Auburn did something weird, which I don't think they will, but they have a fourth loss staring at them in the face against Alabama, although without Tua, it may be a different ballgame. We'll probably only have the one coaching change, right? Am I missing anything? Unless Joe Moorhead, I don't know about Moorhead with Mississippi State.
Up, and it may not be Auburn making the move. Some people do believe that Gus will just make the move himself.
Why? I know the connections. I understand everything with Arkansas. I don't think it's inevitable that he's going to get canned or anything at Auburn. I don't know why you would go to that dumpster fire right now at Arkansas. But Derek Mason will be back for Vanderbilt. The Portland Trailblazers have made it official. Carmelo Anthony signed and will be in uniform tonight. He'll wear 00. Anthony will have a base comp of $2,159,000. That's $14,490 per day. And the Trailblazers will have a cap hit of $1.3 million. The contract will be fully guaranteed. He'll get all that $2.1 million if he survives the season, if he's with Portland at the end of the season. But Carmelo Anthony joining the Trailblazers, who have really, really been struggling. They got blown out again, was it last night, by Houston, and the Rockets are surging. In the meantime, speaking of teams that are struggling, the Golden State Warriors, they have lost 7 straight games, and tonight they will be taking on your Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies come in at 5-8, Warriors at 2-12, 7 o'clock tip at FedEx Forum. Boy, have things changed in a year. Less than a year.
They this is not the Warriors team we've come to know. That is for sure. And the lineup they're trotting out there, it's interesting to say the least.
Also last night in the NBA, Luka Doncic, 42 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, a 40-point triple-double, the second player under the age of 21 to turn the trick, the other being LeBron James.
He's incredible. He is really, really good, and he has surpassed even any expectations or hype. At 20 years old to be doing the things he's doing, pretty ridiculous. If they can get Porzingis back to where Porzingis used to be, that is one hell of a combination.
And another great player in the West to be on all-star teams moving forward. NFL.
The Rockets last night, you mentioned them, they got their 8th straight win. James Harden is just putting together one of his streaks that are just silly. In that 8-game winning streak, averaging 42 points, basically 7 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 2 steals, shooting 42% from three-point range. Averaging 42 points while shooting 42% from three-point range in an 8-game stretch. He's over 39 points per game for the season. And he actually kind of got off to a slow start.
Yeah, he did. Look, I love Houston. I really think that this could be their breakthrough year. I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but I think they have a chance. I think people are kind of underplaying their hand. To begin the season, it was all about the Clippers, right? Kawhi and Paul George together. Well, Paul George is finally back and Kawhi's out. When they're together, we'll see how dominating they are. They'll probably be very dominating. But right now, it's the Lakers that have been the most dominant, and most of these so-called experts had the Clippers. And it still may be the Clippers in the end. But right now, the Lakers are the best team. But the Rockets are a team to be reckoned with. I certainly think the team that was in here in Memphis on Sunday, Denver, has a chance. Look, Utah, I know, is up there, and they're off to a good start. They certainly have the pieces, but I don't know if they'll have enough. But it is wide open. It is absolutely wide open.
Paul George, last night at the game-winning 3 against Oklahoma City with 25 seconds left. Paul George in the last 2 seasons now, last year and this year, that's his 4th go-ahead three-pointer in the final 30 seconds of a game. Nobody else has more than 2.
Wow.
That's a lot for a season in, a month? 4 go-ahead three-pointers in the final 30 seconds.
Mr. Clutch.
I mean, that is, and he does that against his former team. I'm sure that felt pretty good for him.
NFL Week 11 wrapped up last night. We'll take a look at the NFL here on the program as we do every Tuesday. And last night it ended in Mexico City with the Chiefs knocking off the Chargers 24-17. After last year's game ended up being canceled because of the conditions on the grass, they went out and they spent a lot of money to make sure that they fixed it and everything was pretty good last night. There were a couple of times that players made quick turns and slipped, but I think for the most part the grass held up and the Chiefs got the win.
Old Phillip Rivers.
Crimea Rivers with 7 interceptions in the last 2 weeks.
He likes to throw the, I guess it's not technically a walk-off because it's always an extra kneel down, but he loves the
walk-off pick?
He loves the walk-off interception. He is a master of throwing the late pick to end the game.
Well, he said recently.
That throw last night was terrible.
No,
it was awful.
He had a couple of passes that he just kind of chucked up there and hoped. Now, Mike Williams went up and got a couple, but it's kind of a hope and a prayer. But he said recently that he would like to continue to, what is he now, 39, Phillip Rivers? He's closing in on 40 like Breeze and Brady, but the statement was he wants to continue to play for what? he is not playing at the level he's played in his career. He is not even close. And I know Brady, some would say that he's lost a little bit off the fastball. And Tom actually complained a little bit about the offense this week, and you don't hear that. But there's a big difference between Brady and Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers is losing that ability, and I don't know if
that's the difference. Tom Brady had something to lose off his fastball. Phillip Rivers doesn't have anything to lose off the fastball.
Yeah, but he was still a very effective quarterback. Obviously, the team didn't go where they wanted to go, but I think I still think he's a Hall of Famer. But Phillip Rivers right now and that Chargers team is going nowhere. They have to start looking and thinking about the future. Their backup is Tyrod Taylor, and he is not going to be their future quarterback. So maybe the Chargers are looking at QB in the draft.
They better be. It should have been 3 years ago.
Phillip Rivers is 37.
Oh, he's only 37. I thought he was 39.
Well, he's got like 15 kids.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's probably fizzling out a little bit. He's probably doesn't have much.
Got to get to you after a while,
my mom and dad aged quicker than what they should have when they 8 kids. I just assume how many kids does he have?
He has 7, I believe.
7, and I'm sure 8 will be soon.
Yeah, but your parents are still alive and kicking. They're doing well. I mean, that's fantastic. But they did retire at age 35, I think it was, both of them. So
the last night though, I just thought it was hilarious. He got him down there to almost tie the game, spiked it. It was all perfect, and then immediately just threw it to the other team. Well, it wasn't even close.
He underthrew it.
It wasn't even close.
It was a terrible throw. First of all, though, they got lucky in that final drive, and finally, John Perry pointed out the long pass that Mike Williams made the catch on. They stopped the clock for no reason. The guy, he was clearly down inbounds, and that would have taken like 20 seconds for them to get everybody down there. So they caught a huge break with that one, and then they get down there, and then he just makes a horrendous throw.
And not to mention there's a safety coming over top, and there's a corner in front, is double covered, and he just threw it right to the corner.
Well, Kansas City, not on that play. That was just horrible. But Kansas City disguised some of their formations. They did a good job. The Honey Badger interception was something that was as Booger McFarland pointed out, they showed him, I think, one defense, and they went and they changed it, and Honey Badger jumped the route. But 7 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. We're not talking about a bad throw here or a bad throw there. He has been absolutely bad. All right, elsewhere in the NFL, your Cowboys in a high-scoring game beat the Detroit Lions. In that game, Dak Prescott was tremendous, threw for 444 and 3 touchdowns. But Tony Pollard now getting a little more playing time, and when he plays, they win. He had 4 catches, including a touchdown catch, a 2-point conversion. They're starting to utilize him a little bit more.
Yeah, the touchdown catch was a nice little move after the catch to leave a defender and then accelerate it into the end zone. I'm all for them getting the ball in his hands in different ways. He is certainly effective when they can get him into space, and trying to figure out ways to do that is a good idea.
Colts got a nice bounce-back win after a debacle against Miami. Jacoby Brissett returned. He did a pretty good job. It wasn't great, but he had a touchdown pass, a touchdown run, through a pick, and they blew out Jacksonville 33-13. So you look at the AFC South. The Titans were off, by the way. You have Indy 6-4, Houston 6-4, who were no match for Baltimore. Tennessee 5-5, and Jacksonville 4-6. 2 games separate all 4 teams.
Indy and Houston Thursday night, right? There's a Thursday night game this weekend.
Yeah, so there's a lot of big interdivisional battles coming up in that particular division, and of course a lot of the divisions. But the Ravens were a big story once again, as they did blow out Houston. And I thought that was going to be a pretty decent game. 41-7 to improve to 8-2. Lamar Jackson, 17-24, 222 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 9 carries, and 86 yards. Right now, there's no question he is your most valuable player.
They're the best team in football right now. With what their defense is doing, because since they got Peters, like, their defense is not giving. There's old Deshaun Watson at Houston at 7 points. Like, their defense has been great. And he's playing at an unbelievably high level. Mark Ingram's running the ball well. Like, they're the best team in football.
And going into the season, I don't know what the expectations were. But you're right about this Peters trade. They won that trade. It is working out well. They always seem to make, whether it was with Ozzie or now with the new GM, they always seem to make the right moves, the right trades, the right draft picks. It's a very solid organization. The Denver game, you talked about it yesterday as, I think, one of your bads. Denver blowing a 20-0 lead. They have lost a lot of close games and games that they have given up leads. Minnesota gets them 27-23. That would have been a horrible loss for Minnesota, but they improved to 8-3. Kirk Cousins, give him credit when credit's due, 29-35, 319, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was terrible in the first half. And then something happened at halftime. I'm not exactly sure what, but they figured something out, and then Denver couldn't stop them. Denver had an opportunity to win it late, and 3 shots in the end zone came up empty. I thought, but Brandon Allen's doing all right for them.
Not bad.
He's been solid in the couple of games.
They had a chance in the end to win the game, but it came up short. No, I think he's played pretty well. New Orleans, after that inexplicable loss to Atlanta, beat up on Tampa Bay, as you would expect. Drew Brees seems to be back in the flow. They're 8-2. Jameis Winston threw for 313 and 2 touchdowns, but he had 4 picks. He's had a couple of good games recently, but I don't know moving forward. Is that still your guy, Jameis Winston, or has Tampa Bay got to look into something as far as the quarterback is concerned?
He just turns it over so much. You can't survive in the NFL with a guy who turns it over the way he does.
I thought Bruce Arians was the only guy that could sort of turn around his career, and it really hasn't worked out. I'm not saying if he has some miraculous sort of comeback the end of the year here, maybe I'll believe in him. But I think they need to move on.
And I mean, they don't. The running back situation is bad, but he's got. When you have Mike Evans and Godwin at your wide receivers, like he's got the weapons outside to work with for sure. He just makes some really bad decisions. Not with you. I thought maybe Bruce Arians would be the guy. He could kind of come in there and rein him in and get his decision making better. But he makes throws. You're like, what in the world were you possibly looking at to make that throw?
Don't look now, but the Oakland Raiders at 6-4, half a game behind the 7-4 Chiefs. They win over Cincinnati 17-10, and those who were clobbering John Gruden last year, after that first year of that mega deal for 10 years, they got it going. They've been a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to do much this year. Jacobs has been very good, the running back from Alabama.
Jacobs has been really, really good. Their offensive line has been really good, and tight end, the Waller, the tight end, has been fantastic for them. They and remember they've got
give some credit to Mike Mayock as well.
Yeah, they did a really good job in the draft, and they still got the Bears pick coming up this year, I believe it is.
They have a bunch of picks coming up.
That Bears pick just keeps getting better and better and better. I still want to go back to all the people who just raved about the Khalil Mack trade for the Bears and tell me again, what did it get them?
You got to wait till it plays out. Last year, it obviously looked like they stole that trade, but now the Bears struggling, as you mentioned, and they lose again to the Rams 17-7. They're 4-6, Rams 6-4. As I said last week, don't count out the Rams, although they got a ways to go. Todd Gurley, 25 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. The Patriots beat the Eagles 17-10. Sort of an ugly game. The Eagles at 5-5 now. No direction right now with the Eagles. I don't know if they're good, mediocre. I don't know what they are. I guess with their record, you would say mediocre at 5-5. Patriots 9-1. Julian Edelman had a touchdown pass.
Yeah, a little touchdown pass for Edelman. Hurt me in fantasy football, but that's all right.
All right, let me get this in. We got to go to Steve Macy, but Bill wants to talk a little NFL. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Yeah, that pass did not help me any. I needed Edelman to catch one, not throw one. He could have thrown to himself. That would have been even more impressive. But, the Lamar Jackson, him against Deshaun Watson was awesome. I just give a lot of credit to Harbaugh that he's using Lamar, losing him in the right way. He's not fighting it. He's doing his thing. He's using Mark Ingram ball. He has few receivers and just controlling the ball. I mean, it's. I love watching them play because they're just doing it the right way. And I don't necessarily think. I know people have talked about how it's going to change the NFL. You just can't get a guy who's like that. I mean, he's big. He's hard to beat up. The theory is if a quarterback's going to run the ball, beat him up. This guy's hard to beat up because he's elusive and he's just big. He can take hits as well as dish them out. But, that Carson Wentz, watching him play, watching the NFL, it's just, I'm just looking at my money saying, why am I doing this? Because it's like, Zach Ertz on that last drive was wide open every single play, and he was hitting him in his ankle, throwing it over his head.
I think Wentz
Zach
is so
Ertz like, dude,
overrated.
You see me standing right here, just
I
throw
know.
the ball.
I know.
It was driving me crazy. I'm like, dude, what is going on?
I
But the
look. I
NFL
know Wentz's talent, Bill, but I think he's overrated personally.
I'm believing after that last drive when Zach Ertz really opened and he just couldn't get him the ball, plain and simple. And I'm like, this is absolutely on. Where's Brady White?
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate the call. Here's the one thing and the good point he made about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, although can take a shot, tries to avoid the shot, whereas Cam Newton for years took the shot, ran you over, and he has had a hell of a career, but now the injuries are starting to mount. If Lamar Jackson can avoid the big collisions, although he can run you over, that will prolong that career moving forward.
Before we get out on this break, I have to send out an RIP to the Cardinals bettors this week. That was the most depressing push I've ever seen.
That's some people lost. I mean, because some places had it at 9.5. You could have gotten it at 9.5. So
they plus 10, 30-26 Niners, and then they get that last second.
Oh, it was
0
brutal.
seconds on the clock. Fumble return.
I mean, they were up by they were leading the game with less than a minute to go and somehow lost by 10. Like that is a brutal beat of epic proportions.
How large was the lead at the one point? San Francisco came back from, I said this yesterday, was it 16?
I don't remember what the biggest lead was.
But a bigger choke job, Baylor or Arizona?
It was 16-0.
Yeah, so they were down 16. Bigger choke job, Arizona, NFL, or Baylor College?
Denver.
Denver
at 20-0 at halftime was way worse than Arizona's.
Well, Baylor was up
28-3.
They were up 25 points in the second half. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Steve Macy will join us from the University of Memphis.
We do have a correct answer for our Humdinger's trivia question. The last time the Memphis Tigers beat the Ole Miss Rebels in basketball, the leading score was?
I don't know. What year was it?
You got to go back a little ways. I didn't realize how far back you had to go.
You had to go back pretty far?
You got to go back more than 10 years.
Was it Chris Douglas Roberts? You got to be kidding me.
There you go. Now, I do have to have, Gabe, I'll let you do this. There are two texts that came in at the exact same time with the right answer. They both have the same timestamp on them. So I've got them labeled here, 1 and 2. Gabe, you pick 1 or 2. Which one? 1 or 2?
Let's go 1.
1. All right. The person who got it, who is the winner, will be notified. To the other one, sorry, Gabe picked against you, but you actually won't even know if you were one of the first ones because there were quite a few people. A lot of Rodney Carney guesses. He must have done it in the 2005-2006 season. CDR did it in the 2006-2007 season.
Would you have accepted Supreme Bay?
I would have accepted Supreme Bay. But yes, 2006, CDR, 17 points in the game. That was the last time the Memphis Tigers beat Ole Miss. They have lost the last 3 meetings against Ole Miss.
Wow. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Steve Macy from the U of M. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, I love how we're always looking out for each other. Kind of like how Liberty Mutual looks out for you by customizing your home insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
Limu, why didn't you tell me about the uncovered manhole? I was literally just telling you. Limu, I had no idea you could swim.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on homeowners insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you curl up on the couch in a fetal position and cry at cheesy movies, even though you've seen them 1,000 times and have all the lines memorized.
You and me, and also you with me, and you and I.
The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the tear-filled comfort zone you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is #1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crab, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Steve Macy joins us every Tuesday from the University of Memphis to talk Tigers athletics, senior associate AD at the U of M. You can follow him on Twitter at Steve Macy. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays.
Straight has.
I thought you meant Steve Macy's voice.
I'm trying to figure out what the connection is between all the exes live in Texas and this segment, and I'm looking for any help you might have.
Do you have any exes that live in Texas?
No, I really don't.
Exactly.
I mean, except for in grade school. I think that's about it.
Well, there you go. You found the tie. I've
Well
done a lot
done,
of
well
research
done.
on your past. I've been doing a lot of research on your past, and I was just seeing what you remembered.
He left that 6th grader hanging, man. Just left the state. Steve,
She is not happy with you, by the way.
It was reported today that Lauren Ashman, the senior woman administrator at Bowling Green State University, is leaving that position to become the senior woman administrator at Memphis. What can you tell us?
Well, I think there's an official release today at noon that may or may not reference that information. So thanks for putting me on the spot.
You know it was going to. Absolutely. Stories out there. It's on CBSSports.com, and that'll be more than likely another person with a lot of experience that will come and add to this great group of people at the University of Memphis. Just new faces.
And I think that's very, very well stated. And I think if those reports were accurate, it's going to be a wonderful addition to our team. And I think as the athletic director, Laird Beach, is starting to make his mark here, things are looking up. And I think this is another example of where we're headed.
Look at this guy, 20 minutes before they release it. He can't confirm it on our show.
So while we're talking about things that you will not answer, do you guys...
Excellent.
Is there any idea at all when you might hear something from the NCAA?
No, there really isn't. At this point in time, it's their timetable, and as they look at the facts as they know them to be, and as they look through it and try to decide what is going to be the reaction, we're really at their mercy at this point in time, and once they're ready to let us know what their plans are, we'll be able to react at that time. But they could go as long as they want, unfortunately, and there's not really a timetable that they've shared with us in any way, shape, or form.
But from, I guess, and I don't know if you know all this, but like, do they have all of the information they need? They're not doing any more investigating, right? Like, they've got the information, they just got to sort through it?
Yeah, that I have no idea, Eli. I'm not sure where that's really gonna be between our legal counsel and the NCAA, and then anybody else that's entwined in it. And there's really nothing I can add to that.
I don't know if you could add to this or even answer this question, but you said that obviously you're on their timetable, so whenever they decide, that's when they decide. But a lot of people thought because of the thing that happened with James dropping the lawsuit and then the school deciding that they were going to keep him out, and I would assume that will happen again tomorrow night against Little Rock, but it happened Saturday against Alcorn State. People were thinking that, well, they must already know what the NCAA's penalties will be. But it's pretty obvious that you guys don't know.
Yeah, I think when there's something ready to announce, we'll be really excited to do that. And I think if we have that ready to go, it'll be out as quick as we can. But yeah, at this point, I'm thinking that the next question you might ask me, just to keep this thing going, is, so Steve, when did you stop beating your wife? And I'm waiting for that question to come up next. As other crap that just can't be answered. So anything else you got?
I mean, we could ask you about the ex that lives in Texas. I don't know. I mean, we can go back to that. I don't know if you know more about her. I don't know.
We've got a couple basketball games this week. A big football game. There's some good stuff going on.
I was gonna say here. I'll lob you an easy one here. Does the men's basketball team play any games this week?
Hey, thank you. Look, I appreciate the life preserver. And yes, in fact, a couple big games this week. We play Little Rock tomorrow night, and we get to welcome back our old friend Preston Laird, who's an assistant coach for Little Rock. And Preston and I go back a little ways, not as far back as everybody that's known him and watched him grow up playing basketball here in Memphis. But he got his start at New Mexico State when I was there as a grad assistant.
Right.
So he's become a friend, and really excited to get a chance to see him, and then get a chance to see him be upset about the outcome. But then Saturday, obviously, is a really big day for the Memphis Tigers in general, with the Ole Miss basketball game at FedEx Forum, and then hustling somewhere to watch the football game at South Florida as the kind of the dream season continues. And really looking forward to having that Cincinnati game on the Friday for Thanksgiving, looking and feeling like the SMU game. And if anybody that went to that SMU game that didn't have a blast or didn't want to do that again, let me know. I can't imagine who that would be. That I would hope that everybody would say, let's have that kind of atmosphere and that kind of fun, and we get to showcase this great city again on ABC for the third time at home this season. And it's a 2:30 kick, and at home, it's going to be just another spectacular opportunity.
Are you seeing any type of surge at the box office, or are people kind of in that wait-and-see mode since it is a holiday, waiting to see if you take care of business at South Florida?
It's okay. It has not been a stampede, but I think it's been pretty good. It's been a lot more solid than a lot of the other games other than that SMU game in terms of rapid sales. We're still 12 or 13 days away from that game, so I still feel good about it. But, yeah, I'd love for us to be able to start talking about some sections selling out and people saying, hey, we really want to support what's going on this season and be part of what's going on this season. And I really encourage everybody to take it start at $20, and let's go ahead and show what Memphis can do again. I mean, we did it once, so there's no reason we can't do it again. There's no real barrier to us anymore. I mean, at times people always said you had to have an SEC opponent. You had to have a Saturday afternoon, whatever the reasons were. I think we proved none of that is true. We did it against an American Athletic Conference opponent at night, and I think that all of those kind of barriers have been broken down, and hope that we can continue to show the nation that Memphis football is not a less than a power school. It's everything that everybody thinks it can be. It's everything that basketball has been over years, a national brand, and that's what football aspires to be. And I think that's what we absolutely are and can be. And I encourage everybody to say, this is something I want to be a part of. And when this season's all said and done, that you get a chance to say this was the most special season in the history of Tiger football. I think there's a good chance of that. And we want everybody to be able to say that and be part of it.
Well, you bring up a couple of interesting things that we talked about earlier. In fact, you echo the sentiments of a texter we had earlier who said that you don't need the SEC because of what happened with SMU. And look, we know that they are few and far between, though, and usually when you play an SEC team with a local connection or a regional connection, you end up getting that big gate, which is certainly important for the school. So I will ask you about this because we started the show today talking about the basketball relationship with Memphis and Tennessee, a series that will continue this year and next year. And then if Rick Barnes is true to his word, basically saying yesterday that he doesn't believe the series will be renewed under his watch. Do you think about these regional teams? You got Penny Hardaway who says he'd love to play all these regional schools, and we're talking about these SEC schools. Is it important? Is it not important? I mean, where do we stand with that moving forward? Because there's a lot of fans in this melting pot of a city.
No, I think it's massively important, and I agree with Coach Hardaway that there are certain games that make all the sense in the world that you don't have to go get on an airplane to go halfway across the country to play. And here in our backyard, and look, you guys know this, and I didn't know it till I really got here, that the level of basketball in the city of Memphis from kindergartners all the way up is ridiculously good. I'd put it up against any place in the entire world of how good the youth basketball is. And as part of that, people are huge basketball fans here, and I think that they want to see the regional rivalries. And Memphis can compete with anybody in the country. There's no reason to say no to anybody that's regional or may have, quote-unquote, more resources or whatever. And I think they're good for our fan base. I think they're good for the fan base of the other regional teams. I think it's good for TV. I think it's good for the media. I mean, I'd love to see us have a couple regional rivalry games on an annual basis at home and maybe even a couple on the road, and then you fill the rest of the schedule in after that. But, obviously it takes two to tango, and we need the participation of the other regional schools to want to do that.
Steve, couple of quick things here. First of all, somebody texted and want to know, are you guys going to be doing any more of the 901 tickets?
No, there will not be a flash sale as part of the Cincinnati game.
Okay. The other thing is, what are ticket sales for the basketball game Saturday against Ole Miss?
In terms of, are we sold out? No, we are not sold out. There are still some upper level seats available, $20 each. And then we've even introduced a new package this year with Chick-fil-A where it includes a ticket and a meal, which includes a side, a drink, and a chicken sandwich. And that's all available for the same price as a ticket in Section 202. So it's either a $12 ticket or a $20 ticket. So that's one of the great things we've been able to do here, and allow for, kind of trying to fill one of those sections. It's been really a neat thing, and ticket sales have been robust.
Wow, $12 ticket or a $20 ticket, and you get lunch. That's pretty
Basically,
good.
You do. Now,
really
for the Little Rock game, it's $12. For the premium games, which are Ole Miss, Georgia, and a couple of the conference games, it's going to be $20.
That's not a bad deal at all.
Of course, it'd be dinner in the case of Little Rock, 7 o'clock game, and then a 12 o'clock game on Saturday would be lunch against Ole Miss. Before we let you go, this is something you know, but I talked about it earlier in the show, and it was tweeted out yesterday. I just think this is just amazing. Memphis, one of only 5 programs currently ranked in the top 25 in football and men's basketball. Ohio State, Oregon, Baylor, and Auburn. That's impressive.
It is, and I think you continue to see that Memphis is aligned in many, many ways with some of the bigger programs and entities in the country. And whether it was Brady White being a finalist for top quarterback in the country and the only quote-unquote non-Power 5 member of that, again, with the attendance things that we posted, it's Memphis So it just continues to be things where you look at it and recognize that Memphis looks a whole lot like some of these schools with vastly higher resources, and it's something to be proud of as a community, as a university, as an athletic department. There is a whole lot for us to look at and kind of puff our chest out with pride.
Steve, as always, we appreciate it. He's the Senior Associate AD at the University of Memphis. He is Steve Macy. You can follow him on Twitter at Steve Macy. We will talk to you tomorrow night.
You were able to answer more than half the questions.
Yeah, you did a good job. You did a good job.
I was very impressed. You guys finally found something I could answer, so thank you. That helped immensely.
I thought you were about to take the fifth.
You might have passed the test. If you got all of those questions correct, you passed the test. You have no room for error, though, because you didn't answer 40% of the questions.
So if this was
well, thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Steve. If this was the SAT, he would have failed. He would have done pretty bad.
He had to get everything he answered correct.
Unless he picks C every time. You know, that's what they say, right? If you don't know, go with C. Go with C. Sports 56 Middays, and hour number 2 of the program is brought to you each and every day by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue. It's inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. They have 60 HD screens to watch the games on. You get lounge and plush seating. I mean, this is really nice. And enjoy craft beers and signature cocktails. Great food as well. But the seating, comfortable, to say the least. I've been down there, and it is tremendous. Plus, they have the Top Golf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun, interactive games every sports fan will love. 50-foot bar, 16 video poker machines. And don't forget, they have 10 betting kiosks throughout the resort that you can lay down your bets as well. Moneyline Book Bar and Grill is the South's only venue that brings together sports, gaming, dining, and nightlife into one exciting destination. Whether you're an avid sports fan or just looking for a special place to have a good time with friends, the state-of-the-art 6,000-square-foot setting is the place to be. Visit the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Hopefully a lot of you took advantage of that last night, or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi. And again, don't forget this Friday, Terry Fader. He is quite the entertainer. He'll be live at 9 p.m. Tickets available on Ticketmaster.com. It's the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort in Tunica. When we come back, 2.5 questions. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and this will be my 52nd Christmas offering the finest gifts of jewelry you can find anywhere in Memphis. Whether she's given you hints about what would make her happy, or whether you're going to surprise her this year, let me invite you to join the thousands of Memphis men who have been putting beautiful gifts from Russell Brothers Jewelers under the tree for decades. Come see our wonderful selection of the finest gemstones, diamonds, sapphires, rubies, emeralds, and all the rest. Put them in rings, pendants, bracelets, and earrings. Let your imagination go and think inside that box, the Russell Brothers box. Like I said, we have a huge selection, but if you don't see what you're looking for, we specialize in custom design just for her. At Russell Brothers Jewelers, we take great pride in offering the very best to our customers, the very best in beauty, the very best in quality and value and service. Come see us at Russell Brothers Jewelers and let us help you be the very best Santa you can be. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hey, you guys, the Liquor, Wine, and Beer Oasis awaits you at the Spirit Shop with a special invite for Thursday, November the 21st. Join the live remote 3 to 6 p. with Wolo and Stats. Take advantage of holiday pre-Christmas deals on your favorite liquor or wine. Stock up. We're giving away 2 pairs of VIP tickets to the U of M and Ole Miss game, 2 $25 gift cards for Neil's Bar and Grill, and Wedgwood Golf Course 4 rounds and 2 golf carts. See you at the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar, the Little Log Cabin Liquor, Wine, and Beer Oasis.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
I love fall. The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Drew invites you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Coming back with it. I like
Guess so.
You can never go wrong with
A
George Strait.
repeat performance.
You can't go wrong with George Strait. I mean, it's that voice is unmatched. Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fuck say?
Question number 1, going back a little bit to what we talked about earlier. If Memphis could play one non-conference team every single year in football and basketball, it doesn't have to be the same. One football, one in basketball. They're going to play every year. Who would you want it to be?
Football, Ole Miss. Basketball, Kentucky.
So it's not the same team.
No.
Doesn't have to be. Could be.
Basketball, personally, Tennessee. I really think Tennessee would be good, and football, Ole Miss.
So football, you'd rather have Ole Miss than Tennessee?
Yeah.
I think so. Because remember, too, we talk about like playing these local regional teams. Neyland Stadium is like, 5.5 hours from here? I mean, that's a long way.
And then I think for both schools, the fan support, it's just, again, way easier to travel.
Okay. Question number 2. NBA ratings are down again this year. There's already been 9 games between TNT and ESPN that have failed to reach 1 million viewers.
Wow.
There was only 19 of those the entire year last year. There's already 9 this year. And 8 of the 10 TNT games have been down from last year in the same slots. What do you think is causing NBA ratings to be down this year?
That's interesting because this year it's more wide open than it's been, right? There's a bunch of teams that can win it all, and we wouldn't be surprised. So why are the numbers down this year?
I think a mixture of load management, the China debacle before the season, and just sort of how the game is played with fouls is probably what I would attribute it to.
So you're talking about the ratings here in the States. You're not talking about worldwide ratings, and so that I don't know how China would affect that. Right? I don't think
a lot of people got mad at the NBA.
That's what I was saying. Sort of the NFL.
Oh, you're not talking about okay.
We're not watching because of.
So you think they're making some type of a protest type thing? I don't know. Your points are all well taken, though. What are the reasons? I do think some of that load management has to do with things because you don't know if these players are playing that you want to see. And if they're not going to play those particular games, you may not even want to watch. The diehards are going to watch, but others who are fringe NBA fans because of the superstars, they know they're not playing, they're not going to watch. I want to say there's so many games, you can't be in tune with all of them, and you're going to be bored with some of them early in the season because, how meaningful are they? But that's the same case every year. So the numbers were up in other years, and now they're down. So that's the kind of a cop-out answer because that's always going to be the case. A lot of early season games. It's like baseball with the midseason, the dog days of summer. I get bored watching some of those games. It's game 89 of 162. I still think it's a huge, long schedule, tedious at times, both baseball and basketball. But basketball is half of what they do in baseball. I don't know. I think this year the numbers would have been up because of how many different teams are now in the mix. Maybe it goes back to that people actually enjoy having a dynasty-type team. But then again, Golden State didn't play every game last year on TNT when the numbers were up. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. But I would say that the load management, the superstars not always playing, not knowing if they're going to play, and then at the last second finding out that this guy's not playing and deciding I'm not going to watch the game. But I'll think about it a little bit more and kind of think about that China thing that Gabe brought up.
All right, question number 3. What is the next game that we see James Wiseman play?
All right, let me check the schedule again. We got Little Rock, and then we have Ole Miss, and then NC State, I believe.
And the first game of his rookie year in the NBA is an acceptable answer.
All right, let me just double check the schedule here. So we have he's sat out one game already, Alcorn State. They have Little Rock tomorrow night, Ole Miss on Saturday. Then they have the game against NC State at the Barclays. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they have Bradley, and then UAB, then Tennessee. That would be 6 if he sat out. No. Tennessee. Next game he'll be back is Tennessee.
They haven't even hinted at a punishment, and I know they're already sitting him out. So I think by the time they hand down a punishment, they'll say, 5 more games. So
you think they're going to add on to as long? I think if it goes 5-6 games before they make their
you think they'll do the Chase Young type thing?
Yes, I think they'll go back and say, listen, he's served. They're going to take away the 2 wins to start the season because they used what they deemed an ineligible player. I don't think they're going to add anything more. I'm going to think he's back for Tennessee.
I'll go Tulane right before the new year.
The 30th.
Yeah, right before the new year.
Is that the game after the Tennessee game?
Yes.
That's
Tennessee's the 14th.
It's Tennessee, then Jackson State, then New Orleans, then Tulane.
Okay, so you're there. So
yeah, I think it'll be quite a while.
And 2 more. And did you say 2 more after Tennessee or 3 more after Tennessee?
3 more.
Well, the third after Tennessee.
That is the third after Tennessee.
No, you're saying Tennessee, then he'll miss Jackson State, New Orleans.
And New Orleans.
Okay.
And then he'll be back for Tulane, Georgia.
So that would be 8 games. No, that would be 9, according to you. And it would be 6, according to me, of just sitting out before the NCAA makes
the no hint at anything to this point really makes me nervous. I'll say that much.
I think we'll be back for Tennessee. I mean, the way, and Penny's got another presser today for the media. I'll be over there this afternoon to check out what he has to say. I'm doing the game again tomorrow night and the game on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to those games. But I want to know if he continues to believe that it's going to be sooner than later. That's kind of been his ammo, that he'll be back sooner than later. He wanted to keep Precious Achiuwa at the 4 and not move him over to the 5 for the game against Alcorn State because he wants to keep things ready to go for when James comes back, who plays the 5. So he started Lance Thomas. We'll see if that continues. Bluff City Law has held steady in the demo for 5 straight weeks. and even added to their audience. Ever since it was announced production would wrap after 10 episodes. That's according to TVLine.com. They have the finale coming up next Monday, and the executive producer promises that this will be an incredible show. He said he is so proud of putting together. I thought last night's show was really good. So with the numbers holding steady, maybe there's a chance. Hopefully a big number next Monday night.
There are two things that they cannot beat: the NCAA and the church.
That's right.
There are only two things that the straights cannot beat in court: the NCAA and the Catholic Church. God and the NCAA. The only two things that will take down Elijah Strait.
We'll put God ahead of the NCAA. NCAA will be in the second spot there. We'll take a break. When we come back, Don Wade with the dish, Connor O'Gara, some college football talk. It's all coming up in our final hour. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
For over 25 years, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 has been bringing you great local sports talk. With 13 hours of local talk daily, we continue to be Memphis's local sports leader. The day starts with Keith Parker and Elliot Wender on the press box from 6 to 7, followed by the Peter Edmonston Experience with C.J. Hurt from 7 to 10. Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie takes you through lunch from 10 until 1. And then, John Harden brings you Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3. Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy drive you home every afternoon with Sports Time with Wolo and Stats from 3 till 6. And John Rennie wraps up the day with Southern Sports Report from 6 to 7 before we turn things over to Fox Sports Radio to get you through the evening. We also bring you Ole Miss Sports, NFL football, and the NCAA basketball tournament. Don't miss anything. Keep your radio locked in right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by 34 North Cocktails. Pop a top on a barrel fee for Sneaky Pucker from 34 North Cocktails today. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Don't that feel real funky, y'all?
Welcome back, everybody. 12:04 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Their Man Cave sale is going on right now. 3-piece theater seating sets, only $9.99. Massage chairs starting at $6.99. It's Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce.
We got a couple of texts talking about the NBA with the ratings down about injured players. I do wonder, I'd have to look back at what the lineup has been so far. How many of the nationally televised games at this point have been either the Warriors with their disaster roster and or the Pelicans with no Zion? And we know Kawhi missed, two games? Or two of the games he missed, weren't they national television games?
Yes.
So I wonder how many of the games that have been on the TNT spots, especially, have had a team where a star player, at least one star player, did not play that game.
That's a great point, and that's why I said my lean was toward what Gabe said with game management. I didn't buy the China thing necessarily, but I think game management has a lot to do with it. Don Wade joins us every Tuesday for the Daily Dish. Of course, you can read all his terrific stories at the Daily Memphian and follow him on Twitter at DWadeMEM. Don, where do you stand with this Tennessee-Memphis debate? Rick Barnes saying yesterday he doesn't think the Tennessee-Memphis series will be renewed after the next two games coming up in December, the next year in Nashville. Some would say, well, they don't really need Memphis on their schedule, and others would say he's just mad at what Penny had to say, and then some would say that maybe Penny alienated him by saying what he did after last year's melee, if you want to call it, or little fracas after the game. What are your thoughts about Memphis and Tennessee moving forward in competition?
I mean, it's silly and expected, I think, because – look, I mean, one take would be that if you're Rick Barnes and you're looking for leverage against Penny, who's got it going the way he does, one thing you can do is say, fine, I'm going to take my ball and go back to Rocky Top, and we're not going to continue this series. So I think there's an element of that. But Penny may not have much appetite for it either, just because of the things that have gone back and forth. But, as so many things we talk about in sports these days, like load management, and a situation like this, the fans are the ones who lose, and they should play. It's not complicated. They should play.
Look, I love that Penny shoots from the hip. I mean, how refreshing is that to have a coach like that? And he has his team's back, and maybe he was wrong. Eli said it earlier. He thought he was wrong, and the video would show that he was wrong last year, that they didn't come and approach his team with clenched fists. But he has his team's back, and I love the fact that he does. But I could easily also understand – I can understand Barnes, even if he's not going to admit this, to say, I don't need this. I can deal with this guy. He's, I've been around for a long time in the coaching industry. Here's a Johnny-come-lately former NBA star who's telling me to, throwing out the F word about me.
And he was friends with Tubby. I mean, let's not forget that.
Well, I brought that up earlier. He was also had a relationship with Tubby.
That's kind of, the underlying – instigating reason for him to not have good feelings toward Penny.
But is it wussing out like one of our callers said earlier, or is it just a smart thing to do if you don't want to deal with it because you're already going to play a tough schedule, non-conference, and a very tough schedule within the conference of the SEC?
I mean, you can make that argument. I mean, from strength of schedule, he doesn't have to have it, right? There'll be enough good wins to get. Mm-hmm. And, he may feel like playing Memphis, going down the road can only hurt him recruiting-wise. We've seen Josh Pastner have that attitude about playing SEC schools here. You can agree or disagree with it, but it's not totally unreasonable to think that.
I think the main thing is, like, it started with I don't like the way my friend was ousted for this. Just this big name who's proven nothing. Because I still think there's a lot of coaches around college basketball that don't like the way Penny got the job and all of that. Part of it because the respect that Tubby has in that industry. Plus, they just don't like. They all had to pay the price. Like they had to pay their dues to work their way up, and they don't think Penny did.
Isn't that the funny thing? I mean, for them, paying their dues was, being with a blue blood program maybe as a grad assistant and cutting up tape. Penny was coaching middle schoolers. I mean, so it's kind of like. No, you have to not just pay your dues. You have to pay your dues the way I pay.
You have to pay it at the count.
That's a great point.
But so I think it started with that, and then it was like, but okay, I'm willing to do this series, and then after first game, and you're trying to tell me my players had balled up fists, which they didn't, and then you're basically telling me to F off, if there's somebody that you don't really like and you're really annoyed by them or whatever, and you don't have to be around them or deal with them, you just go, all right, well, yeah, I can just remove them from my. Right. I don't need. Why would I continue to do this when I don't have to do it?
By the way, it's official. Lauren Ashman will join the University of Memphis as the program's executive associate athletic director and senior woman administrator. She will join in January. Thanks, Steve Macy, for not breaking that news with us. All right, so let me ask you, Don, about the Grizzlies. Obviously, it's something that you've been doing a lot of stories on and covering this team. We are seeing right in front of our own eyes, and I don't think it's a surprise to many, Ja Morant blossoming into a star, an absolute star. Is Jaren Jackson Jr., who's an extremely good player and a big part, an integral part of the future of the Grizzlies, they have a good relationship. Will that continue? Because now it seems like we talked about the passing of the torch from Conley, maybe Friday night with that great night in Memphis at FedEx Forum, to Ja. It's almost like within the team, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. is passing this torch to Ja Morant because he has just come in and he's run past everybody. And is he going to be all right that Ja Morant's going to be the focal point moving forward?
Well, I kind of feel like they need each other to be their best, to look their best, right? There has, we saw the alley-oop where they were both going up for it, and Ja got two hands on it, and Jaren won. But most of the time, it would be Ja throwing that pass and Jaren going up for it, right? I think they both are essential, but there is an it factor with Ja Morant that even, players at his same position can be very good, and they don't have quite that it factor that he has. He has a intuitive way that he plays where he will start to do something, sometimes get himself in trouble, and then get himself out of trouble and finish the play.
Right.
It's a lot like watching a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Montana back in the day scrambling, and it looks like something bad may happen, and then something great happens.
Fran Tarkenton was the perfect example of that. Remember him?
Yeah, I do remember.
Back.
Yeah, he was quite the scrambler. But he's and his 3-point shot is really interesting to me because when he hits them, they're absolutely pure. When he misses them, sometimes he misses everything. I mean, there have been air balls that have been short. There have been air balls that have been long, and he's shooting a decent percentage right now. Yeah. So that's an area of his game that can certainly grow. They're obviously trying to be careful with him with the minutes he plays. He's already set out one game for dreaded load management. And I hate it from the fan side, but I get it from their side. He's 175 pounds, and he's going to go from playing 32 games or whatever it was to playing 82. And, he's playing games in a much more compacted schedule, too. So all the data seems to say that that's what sets you up for greater risk for injury. And if you believe he hit draft night gold, and I think they did, then why wouldn't you be a little extra cautious when you're not going to the playoffs anyway?
He'll never be 210, by the way. I mean, he's going to put on some muscle, but he is never going to be that big guy, so he's going to deal with 82-game schedules here moving forward, but maybe even in the future there will be load management with him. I think the reasoning makes sense. I think your point makes sense. It's just it sucks for a fan if the only game they get to go to, they spend their hard-earned money. Let's say they travel from wherever, St. Louis down to Memphis to watch the Grizzlies, and that's a game that Ja Morant's not playing in.
The thing I would go back to that whole thing is if you are going to sit him out entire games for load management, I wouldn't do it at home on a Saturday night.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck somewhat too, Eli, because if you're going to try to do it on the road, then you get into the whole Doc Rivers playing coy with somebody's injury situation. You can't just sit a guy on the road now.
He had off-season surgery. They could get away with it.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, there's no doubt when the guy's had off-season surgery, you could figure out a way to get him. Or, I mean, do it on a Tuesday night, but I'm not sitting him on a Saturday night. When that is you're going to have more people at those games just naturally. Like
right.
You need to show him to the most people that are buying tickets, and don't tell those people that to come on a Saturday night and go, yeah, no, you're not going to see Ja tonight. Sorry, like that's unfortunate. He played in Orlando last night. I don't know if you saw the game on TV, but here tonight, when you're here, no, we're just not going to play him.
See, I agree with you, but then to Don's point, I mean, you're talking about in that situation a Saturday that came after a Friday game in Orlando. So the back-to-back is what they're going to limit.
Well, and I just did a story on this, and I talked to a guy who was there with his son, his 10-year-old son, when Ja set out. And so I walk up to him and tell him who I am, what I'm doing, and say, hey, do you know about who's sitting out tonight? And so first I told him about Porzingis, kind of, trying to warm him up for, then like, well, I've got even worse news.
The Grim Reaper here?
Yeah.
You at least said you want the good news or the bad news first.
I got even worse news.
It's like Scrooge over here.
Ja's not playing tonight, and he's like, oh, man, that's one of his favorite players, pointing to his son. So then we talked some more. Guy had served over in Afghanistan and Iraq, so we're talking, and I say, I'm guessing you didn't have load management over there. You weren't allowed. He says, that would be a negative, But we got through all that, and actually his brother-in-law had given him the tickets for his birthday. And he says, but I'm not mad about this because Ja Morant is their investment, and the organization, if they feel like their young star needs rest, then they're going to rest him, and I'm okay with it. So I guess when you've seen real life in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, you don't get as bent out of shape as the average fan would about being there for your game and no Ja Morant.
Let me ask you, okay, I'll make the segue into entertainment. You go and pay, when Hamilton first came out, what was his name?
Which I've heard of and know nothing about and probably wouldn't walk across the street to see, but go ahead.
It's unbelievable. First of all, it's unbelievable, and you should see.
Greg is a man of the theater.
No, not really, but I go to the
arts. He's a man of the arts.
Will you follow me here? You're
He's
getting
a
off
man
track.
of the theater.
Lin-Manuel Miranda was the guy who created Hamilton, and he was Hamilton. So it hits. It becomes a major play on Broadway. So you buy your tickets. And they were expensive. If you could even buy them, you're buying them from whatever service it is for a lot of money. And you go there, and they're saving Lin-Manuel Miranda a couple of days of plays because his voice isn't 100%, but they want to make sure he's strong for that Sunday matinee. And then you don't get to see him. He's not playing.
Okay, but
you're going to be pissed off.
Well, I would be, except that in that case, I'm as, here's the kind of fan I am. You could replace Ja Morant with Will Solomon, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. That's the level of fan I am of an event like that.
That's not because you don't know it. It's my point is that guy's great, and the understudy is going to be very good, but he's not going to be even close to him.
Well, see, but I'm not a man of the theater like Greg, but I would guess that yes, that whoever replaces him, it's going to look or sound or whatever, it's going to be fairly similar, much different than Ja Morant not playing, and I get more of Tyus Jones.
Well, you're talking about a superstar and then some other person that replaces him. That would be the same thing. Ja Morant
I'm just saying,
a superstar in the making.
I don't think the difference in the performance would be that much compared to
Ja Morant
to Tyus Jones.
Where
is.
they're doing the same role come in would be if Tyus Jones had to sing. That's where the difference would come in.
I'm sorry. I think if I'm...
But again, I don't go to play, so I don't know. You do.
Use any other analogy where they sit somebody, whatever, for the backup person. It's not going to make people happy who pay good money. But it is one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't deals because in the long run, he is your investment. And if they think because of the analytics and the numbers that we do today, and look, Michael Jordan came out and said, I was paid to play 82 games. I played 82 damn games. I played when I was sick. Now, are we going over? The question is, are we going overboard?
Probably,
I think we are.
Probably, but I don't think it's going to go back. And
right,
I've talked to people about this. In baseball, there's kind of a natural day when a lot of the rest comes, and that's a Sunday afternoon game, especially for a star catcher like Yadier Molina. There's also days you can figure out when certain players probably won't play based on who's pitching. So if you're an educated fan, you can hedge the bet a good bit in baseball and figure things out. In football, until you get to the last 2 weeks of the season when you might sit down a star quarterback because your seat is clinched, you're going to the playoffs, don't risk the injury, they're going to play. The NBA has a much more challenging situation, and there are all sorts of ideas out there. You could designate, a player gets, 10 rest games and, you kind of spend them like chips, and, when you're going to rest them. But how much notice should you give the fan? Well, obviously from the team standpoint, the more notice you give, the more you kill ticket sales and walk up, right? And then what you have is a run on tickets in the secondary market because people who are season ticket holders said, I'm not going to go to this game now. And then those tickets, go for less than face value in the secondary market, and you don't sell that seat at full price through your box office that you might have. So there's not much incentive for the team to really help the fan out.
Except if you withhold information that that could make the choice of whether or not they want to go to that game pretty obvious, then you may piss them off for future purchases because you didn't give them that information when it was available.
Fans are still going to want to come see who they want to see. I mean, I think they're pretty – look, we've all done it as fans where we have lived with decades of teams losing, and we're still fans. Fans are pretty resilient. And I just dealt with AT&T today. I mean, I've been in this thing for 2 months with my internet off.
I know.
I finally got it. And it took me to be on the phone more than an hour today to just move them from $30 to $40 of credit for 2 months of inconvenience.
Don't get me started with that stuff.
I mean, there's no leverage.
My thing with Ja is you were 9 games into the season. I think the 20-year-old could handle it at this point. And you're already limiting his minutes. Like, okay, so for whatever reason you think, like, we don't want to deal with the league, so we're not going to sit him at Orlando. Play him 20 minutes at Orlando and play him 20 minutes at home. I just think 9 games into the season telling your fans who bought tickets for a Saturday night game, that's a rough. Like, when the buzz is just starting to build on, like, it's just now getting out, like, hey, dude, you got to go see this Ja Morant. Like, he's the real deal in Memphis. And like, oh, cool. Well, this Saturday, they're at home. Awesome. I'm going to go check this game out. Oh, well, he's not playing. But, hey, I get to see Marco Guduric. Is he the real deal?
Solomon.
Like, I don't know. It's Solomon Hill.
There's one thing to say about the future. We're all invested some more than others, but you want this team to be where they're competitive again like they used to be with the core 4. But also there's something to say about the present, right? You want to enjoy yourself. You want to see the best product they could put out there. And right now they've done a pretty good job rolling out a nice product because of the offseason moves they made, the draft choices they made. The Brandon Clark decision was incredible. And to luck out and get the 2 pick and get Ja Morant. So right now, even though this team isn't going anywhere this season and the future is what's important, it's still important to have a great product for people to enjoy, at least a good product for people to enjoy and have fun. And they're doing that. You start cutting the guy out, he's missing games because he's going from college to the NBA. Like Eli said, I mean, we're 9-10 games into the season, the guy's getting a rest. I mean,
like, I get it in March. Back-to-back in March, and I think your fans will be like, okay, like, it's been a long season, like, he's put a lot of workload. I mean, even February or something before the All-Star break or, like, whatever. Like, I think fans get it. I think when fans look at it and go,
is the draw.
9 games into the year, he needs
no doubt
a rest.
about that.
I want to see the Grizzlies strictly. I mean, if I want to see him strictly because of Ja Morant. He is worth the price of admission to go watch that guy play.
He is. And here's the other reality. He plays, and other players have said this, from Mike Conley to James Harden, he plays with such fearlessness that unfortunately, if he does suffer an injury, it's probably going to be because he plays with such fearlessness.
That's a great point.
And I don't know how you protect yourself from that. And the answer is you don't. It either happens or it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not because of minutes played and games played consecutively. It's because he goes up there with reckless abandon and gets knocked on his back, God forbid, and gets hurt that way. That's a great point. Don Wade, always great stories at the – what do you got up there at the Daily Memphian now? What's the latest story you had?
You can still find the load management story, and then from Sunday you can still find the piece on fan behavior that it's gotten a lot of traction. You can kind of psychoanalyze yourself.
Sounds good. Dr. Don Wade. Check him out at the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at DWadeMEM and catch him every Tuesday here on Middays. When we come back, Connor O'Gara will join us to talk some college football. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Is imitation the sincerest form of flattery? Not when it comes to your car audio. Stereo One is the leader in car audio, remote start, security, and more for the past 30 years. Stereo One is proud to announce the grand opening of their new location, 1983 Covington Pike, across from the Honda dealership. To celebrate their new location, Stereo One has marked down their entire inventory. Remote start systems at $129 with free installation. Subwoofer base packages start at just $199. Window tint starting at $129. The entire inventory of radios and touchscreens with features like Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, and backup cameras are marked to go. Check out Stereo One before you buy online. Their knowledge, friendly sales staff, and pro installation team will take care of you. Visit the Stereo One new location today, 1983 Covington Pike across from Honda, or visit their mega store at Mendenhall and Winchester. Make sure you go to the originators and not the imitators. Stereo One is still the one for your auto accessories.
The holiday season is here, and it's time for our best offer of the year during the Ford Black Friday event. Now, for a limited time, get 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. You're ready, and so are we. Start the season off right, and don't wait to enjoy our best deal of the season. That is 20% estimated savings on select 2019 Ford models. The Ford Black Friday event ends soon, so hurry in today. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by December 2nd, 2019. See participating dealer for complete details.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by 34 North Cocktails. Pop a top on a barrel thief or sneaky pucker from 34 North Cocktails today. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
What is this, Country Tuesday? All right, we've heard enough country.
It's Good Music Tuesday.
So Fox Bet has their odds to, it's not odds, I guess, it's the favorites and their list of prices to win the various college football conferences. So they have Ohio State, Eli, as a minus 1,000 to win the Big Ten. They have Oklahoma as a minus 550 to win the Big 12. They have Clemson as a minus 1,600 to win the ACC. LSU a minus 350 to win the SEC. Oregon, a minus 160 to win the Pac-12. Boise State, a minus 250 to win the Mountain West. And Memphis, a plus 120 to win the American Conference.
I'm actually surprised Clemson's not a bigger favorite. I know. I mean, I would think they would be like minus 5,000. Like I don't know how they wouldn't win it.
So explain this to me again. So obviously with Clemson, you got to lay $1,600 to win $100.
Yep.
For Memphis at plus 120, what is that?
Bet 100 to win 120.
100 to win 120. And Ohio State, 1,000 to win 100. All right, interesting. Time now for Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor with Greg and Eli.
He is Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist for SaturdayDownSouth.com, SaturdayTradition.com. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Fresh buzz, I'm hearing, Connor, huh? Nice little haircut before the segment.
You know, I went into my haircut thinking, all right, I got 40 minutes for me to hop on with the Memphis guys, and I'll be good to go. And my hairstyle, she's really, really nice, super, super nice, but she was very conversational today, and I'm starting to be like, all right, we're cutting it close here, not just on the sides of my ears, but yeah, we were cutting it close. And I apologize for coming on a minute late here, but the cut is clean and we're good to go.
Hey, no problem whatsoever. At least you got the hair to cut. Eli and I are a little bit in trouble as far as that's concerned.
On a side note, I am totally anti-conversation in the barber chair.
Are you really?
I hate when they try and talk to me. Just cut my hair and move along.
See, the guy who cuts my hair has been cutting my hair since I got here in 1995, and he's fantastic, and we're buddies. And so we talk all the time.
My wife now cuts my hair for me, who takes the thing.
So you don't talk to your wife?
No. Cut the hair. I don't want you to be distracted, first of all. Just cut it and let's get this done with.
Oh, gosh, Connor. He's worried about his ear getting cut off by his wife. All right, Let's talk about Tua. The first thing to talk about is obviously the big story from last weekend, which will have repercussions. What side are you on as far as he should not have been in the game deal, or come on, he's going to at least play the first half, if not the first three quarters, no matter what game and what the situation is?
When I first saw what happened, my initial thought, and I was going to react this way in a column and say, Nick Saban's overcompetitiveness finally caught up to him. And you saw his comment at the halftime interview where he's saying how, we want to work on 2-minute drill stuff. And everybody knew what Tua was dealing with coming into this game. And at the time, you don't know that it's a catastrophic hip dislocation. And you're thinking, it's probably a re-aggravation of the ankle or some sort of lower body injury. And, I'm glad I didn't react in that moment because I changed my tune. The more you hear about this, about how, Tua wanted to play, and, let's think about the situation as a whole. It was still the first half of a game. Tua's not getting benched in the first half of a game. And to the people who say, well, Mac Jones should have been starting in the first place, well, you're also the same people who are saying that Bama needs style points and Bama needs to win all these games by 50 points in order to have a playoff path to begin with. So that kind of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to say then by putting in Mac Jones. What if they win that game 21-14? So I look at that situation and, it's just a crappy situation. It sucked. It was a bummer. Like, it's a bummer to lose a player like this. And when things like this happen, we tend to want to have something to blame. But it was a freak injury. You don't hear about hip dislocations every day. It was a rare set of circumstances. He had been protected well all day. It could have happened on any given play. If he was going to play at any time the rest of the year, it could have happened against Auburn. What if Marlon Davidson and Derek Brown had landed on top of him? I mean, my goodness, would have both hips dislocated. I mean, for crying out loud, like, this could have happened at any given time. And I think the people who are rushing to blame Saban, they're not taking into account Saban has Tua's best interests at heart. He's not going to put him out there in harm's way if he's not going to be able to handle it. So, yeah, I changed my tune. And I'm glad that I had a moment to kind of step back and look at the bigger picture and realize that this isn't as cut and dry as people were making it out to be.
Where do you expect them to be in the rankings tonight?
probably 5, right? I mean, they're probably not going to move off their spot just because Oklahoma was trailing a good amount. The resume is still not where it needs to be. Not that Bama's resume is where it needs to be either, but I think that they're still going to be on that 5 line, even if they beat Auburn. That's the interesting thing is that they're probably going to go into conference championship weekend at that number 5 spot, and all is set up for them to be able to fall back once, if and when Oklahoma and Oregon both claim their conference championships. And if they both, are 1-loss teams, then they're going to be in ahead of Alabama. I still stand by that belief. I know we talked about it last week about, well, hey, why should Bama even pass Georgia? Like, what if Georgia loses that game to LSU? Why then would Georgia being forced to play an extra game would all of a sudden Bama pass them for some reason?
Right.
The more and more you look at it, Bama's path to the playoff is just not what people think it's going to be. And if they get in this year with this set of circumstances, with this resume, I'll be fully on board the belief that it's just based on name brand alone. And if the selection committee can just come out and say that, we'd all be better for it.
Because everybody now without Tua, they're screwed, everything else. But what if with Mac Jones they just kill Auburn? Like what if they hammer Auburn, and then you're coming down at the end of the year and you are comparing them to, say, Oregon, whose only loss is to Auburn?
Bama right now has 1 win against a Power 5 team with a winning record. That's Texas A&M. If they kill Auburn, great. Auburn is probably going to be the only team that they have a win against that's in the current top 25, because if A&M loses these last 2 games against the likes of Georgia and LSU, both of which are road games for A&M is not going to be in the top 25. It is not going to help Bama's resume. Remember 2015 Ohio State? 2015 Ohio State lost that game to Michigan State at home, a game that they should have won. Michigan State was playing a backup quarterback. And then what does Ohio State do at the end of the year? They destroy Michigan. And Ohio State's sitting there with 1 loss. They were the preseason unanimous number 1, first ever unanimous number 1 in AP poll history. And still, they couldn't get into the playoff because they didn't have those quality wins. And my brother actually did a column for our Big Ten site, Saturday Tradition, and shout out to him. And he kind of broke it down. He's like, why didn't Ohio State get the benefit of the eye test, but all of a sudden Bama would? To me, that Ohio State team had more talent than this Bama team did. I mean, go back and look at the draft numbers. It's not close. And I think that people right now that would be putting Bama in are just looking for a way to give them any sort of chance if that were to come up. The resume is simply not going to be there, even if they dominate Auburn.
By the way, even if they beat Auburn at that point, Auburn would pick up a 4th loss, and who knows if they wouldn't drop out of the top 25 for the next week going into the championship games. You know what I'm saying?
That's something that I think people aren't considering either, too, is that, Auburn's got these quality losses, but you're kind of trying to figure out, all right, well, Auburn's got the nice win against Oregon, which is probably going to be what keeps them in the top 25 in the back end. They've sort of been given the benefit of the doubt because their losses are good losses per se. They haven't had that stub-the-toe loss. They won on the road against a winning team in A&M, but I think that they're still probably going to be in there just because that Oregon win continues to look better and better.
All right. There has been a lot of talk the last couple of days about people who do a weekly top 25 flip-flopping 1 and 2. In the case of our buddy Barrett Salih, I think he flip-flopped 1 and 3. USA Today has re-ranked with Ohio State now 1 and LSU 2. Should LSU be penalized, and I don't think they will tonight, but who knows, for giving up all those yards and those points to Ole Miss despite winning by 21, scoring a bunch of points themselves, and Ohio State hammering Rutgers, for goodness sakes?
No, I think that there's a difference between seeing a team has weaknesses and punishing a team for its resume. And LSU's resume, to me, right now is darn good. I mean, really, really good. One of the best resumes that we've seen during the playoff era. I mean, to have 4 wins against top 25 teams, it's going to be 3 wins against playoff top 25 teams because Texas is going to fall out, but it's still a better resume than Ohio State. And Ohio State's schedule is backloaded. I mean, they still have Penn State, they still have Michigan coming up. And if at the end, if they beat those 2 teams significantly, and if there are people who are saying that, Ohio State deserves to be number 1, they run the table with a 9-game conference schedule. All right, I'll hear that case. That's fine. But in the meantime, I still have LSU as the number 1 team just because their resume is so good. I mean, they went on the road and put up those kind of numbers against Nick Saban's defense at Alabama. To me, like, that just matters. And I realize this defense isn't at a 2012 level or anything like that, but to me, winning at Alabama and then, oh, by the way, you won at Texas, and oh, you beat Auburn at home, and oh, you beat Florida at home too. Like, LSU's resume is still just so good that, yes, even though they do have those issues on the defensive side, and they might not be the most complete team in the country right now, the resume still warrants that number one spot.
By the way, when you we were talking about Auburn, and then you mentioned what Texas A&M still has left. Those two schedules that those two teams played this year are
brutal.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And, you know, it's funny because everybody was coming into the year, we're trying to map out the over-under win total for each of those teams. And, you know, have either of those teams lost a game that they should have won? I don't think so. I mean, I think we actually had that figured out pretty well. And usually we don't. We kind of struggle with that when you get caught up in, you know, the schedule. And the over-under for A&M's regular season win total was what? 7.5 or something like that. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, there's 7, I think it was, and they're kind of right on that mark. We had it figured out pretty well, and there's a reason that we spent so much of the offseason talking about these schedules, because, you know, you don't just go into Georgia and win a game like that and snap your fingers. I mean, it's going to take, I think, longer for a team like A&M to be able to do that. But, yeah, I mean, between them and South Carolina, who I give credit to, because not only did they play 10 Power 5 teams, which they didn't have to do, but they also had Appalachian State on the schedule, and they turned out to be even better than we thought. So, yeah, I mean, some of these SEC teams just have had absolutely brutal gauntlet schedules this year, and the records are showing it.
All right, so the Pac-12 situation is getting better and better for them with each passing week, assuming that Oregon and Utah keeps winning, and they're on a collision course for the championship game in the Pac-12. And the winner of that game, if they come out of there with one loss, has a good argument to be in the playoff. Where do you see an Oregon or a Utah as opposed to, let's say, a 2-loss Georgia after losing in the SEC championship game, or any of the other 1-loss teams, especially if it's an Oklahoma who would go on to win the Big 12 title with just the 1 loss, but some narrow escapes?
I think Oregon's going to have a better case. I think Oregon would have a better case over a team like Oklahoma, over a 2-loss team like Georgia, just because running the table with a Power 5 conference schedule is not an easy thing to do. And I bring this stat up all the time, but I just think it needs to be remembered. We have yet to see a team in the playoff era go 9-0 with a 9-game conference schedule and win the conference championship, a Power 5 conference championship, and make the playoff. Hasn't happened yet. I mean, there's a reason for that. And if Oregon could do that this year, that would be an incredibly impressive feat. And I think it'd be one that the selection committee would have to honor. And, you know, I'm not one to sit here and compare losses. People do that way, way too much as it relates to the playoff. The selection committee wants to see who you can beat. But if Oregon beats a top 10 Oregon team, or a top 10 Utah team, rather, you know, on a neutral site and earns its way into the conference championship with an undefeated conference plate, then yeah, I mean, I'm on board with the idea of Oregon getting in. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, I'd put Oregon ahead of that 1-loss Alabama team. They will have earned it at that point, because that competition is, you know, the Pac-12, you know, it kind of is what it is. You could point to the fact that they only have 2 AP top 25 teams right now, but, you know, there are still some decent teams that can at least trip you up. I mean, go look at a team like Georgia that lost to 4-win South Carolina. Like, you can get tripped up in any given week against a Power 5 team. And for Oregon to kind of avoid all of those booby traps, and they're starting to look a little bit more dominant than they were a few weeks ago, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'd say that they'd be definitely able to get in. Would that put them in ahead of a 1-loss LSU team if LSU were to lose in the conference championship? No. But, yeah, I mean, I'd still give them the benefit of the doubt over a lot of the other teams that are competing right now.
What do you expect Ohio State to do to Penn State?
You know, I think it's going to be – I'll take Penn State to cover.
Really?
In this game. I'm going to take Penn State to cover, and here's why. You know, initially, I think people were kind of writing off Penn State after the Minnesota thing, and I said right after, I said, look, I think Penn State actually still has a shot at this thing. And I was so low on Penn State coming into the year, I didn't think that they deserved to be a top 25 team, but I actually think that they're going to be able to present some things to Justin Fields that he has not seen yet this year, where they have athletes on the outside who can prevent him from scrambling. If you go back and look at the box score of that game, Justin Fields was not the reason that Ohio State beat Wisconsin. It was Chase Young. And Chase Young, obviously, is his first game back. He's going to be amped up, ready to go. Who knows if there will be any rust to shake off or anything like that. But Justin Fields was not particularly great against that really good Wisconsin defense. This Penn State defense, that's the best defense he has faced. I'm interested to see how he acts when he has guys who can chase him down rushing off the edge. That's the biggest question I have about him moving forward, how he handles those situations. He has what Trent Dilfer calls supreme physical confidence. That means he looks at a pass rush that's coming right at him, and he thinks that he can outrun everything. And I'm not convinced that Justin Fields is going to be able to do that against this Penn State defense, which has all the motivation in the world, and I think that they are going to be ready to go. People have written them off already, and I don't know how much adversity Ohio State's had to really deal with within a game, and I think Penn State's going to give it to them. So I think Penn State's going to keep it close. I'm not going to sit here and say that Penn State's definitely going to win, but I think their chances are a lot better than people are giving them credit for.
This does feel in a way like it feels like James Franklin kind of relishes these situations more when he has the team that nobody's really given the chance to win the game.
I think so too. I've been so critical of him, and don't get me wrong. I don't want. He's a little bit like the Big Ten's version of Kirby Smart. If a game is close at the end, you don't want him making decisions. You just don't. You feel like he's going to do something to shoot you in the foot, take the ball out of his best player's hands. Credit to him, though. This team has been way better than I thought it was going to be, and I think he does relish that. I think he likes being in this position now where he's got a defense that he feels really confident in. He feels like his quarterback is starting to make some better decisions. He's going to be able to respond better than he did against Minnesota, where he had those takeaways. But I think that this is a Penn State team that right now is very, very hungry, and they're going to give Ohio State everything you can handle.
All right, need a quick answer. Are you surprised that Derek Mason is going to retain his job?
Retain his job? Is that official?
The AD has come out and said it, so...
That's always subject to change, though. There's still a couple of weeks left in the season.
Let me see until he's there through December. I just don't know. If I'm Malcolm Turner right now, I have a really tough time bringing Derek Mason back. Just the fact that they have had 4 straight games of home attendance under 25,000 people. That's terrible. You can't have that, and it's a bad look to be a 2-win program with this team that had a lot of offensive talent returning. It's a bad look. They're 120th in the country against the run. There's only 2 Power 5 run defenses worse than theirs. It's been awful for Vandy this year. Malcolm Turner, I get it. You're a new AD. You want to kind of feel things out at first, but man, I'd have a tough time being able to run it back with Derek Mason.
He is Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist for SaturdayDownSouth.com, SaturdayTradition.com. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. You can catch him every Tuesday during the college football season right here on Sports 56 Middays. Thanks, Connor. Enjoy that cut of yours, man. That new cut.
I'm gonna go just ride out in the sunset, do a little joy riding with my new haircut, and enjoy the day.
Thank you, my friend. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
For all your equipment needs, Mid-South Ag Equipment, the place to go. Go check them out just south of Collierville on Goodman Road. It's a half-mile west of the Goodman Road exit off of I-269. Online at midsouthag.com, where you can see that complete line of Case IH Farmall tractors, the Bush Hog cutters, Bush Hog zero-turn lawnmowers, and all the different things that they offer, as well as all the different deals they've got going on with financing and other things that you could take advantage of and get all the details. Again, that's midsouthag.com. But again, go by and see them. They've got all the answers. They've been doing this for a long time. They know the industry better than anybody. They've got the best product in the industry with the Case IH Farmall series of tractors. Whether you're looking for new equipment, used equipment, service on your current equipment, whatever it might be, they can take care of you at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Phone number is 662-890-3141. Again, the website, midsouthag.com. Go by and see them just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, Mid-South Ag Equipment.
All right, we'll take a final timeout, come back, wrap it up with one final thing, tell you about our show tomorrow as well. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Time to put up the tree.
Funny thing about the holidays is nothing flies by faster.
Time for family photos. Time to cut the turkey. Time to open gifts. Time to take down the tree. Happy New Year!
Well, actually, the Lexus December to Remember sales event also goes by fast. That's because for a very limited time, you'll find some of our best offers on our most popular models. But don't wait. Offers end January 2nd. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Lexus of Memphis. First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is #1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products. All found at Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD Store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD Store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by 34 North Cocktails. Pop a top on a barrel thief or sneaky pucker from 34 North Cocktails today. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
This hour is indeed brought to you by the folks with 34 North Cocktails. Fantastic stuff with the barrel thief and sneaky pucker. Give them a try. You can find them at liquor stores around Memphis right now. The Barrel Thief, 15% alcohol by volume, and the Sneaky Pucker is 12.5% alcohol by volume. So be careful. You don't want to be drinking too many of these things. That's for sure. They could, they'll a little bit, but great for tailgate parties and other parties. So convenient. You don't have to worry about mixing the drinks yourself. They're already mixed and ready to go right out of the can. They come in 12-ounce cans, and again, they're available in 4-packs around the city of Memphis at your favorite liquor stores. Check them out today. 34 North Cocktails.
This was a tweet from Dean Georgaris. He is the creator of Bluff City Law. He said, coming up next Monday is the season finale. Hopefully it's not the series finale, right? The numbers have been pretty steady, and hopefully they'll get a second year. He said, this is quite simply the best hour of television I've ever been a part of on any level, and I'm so proud of the cast and crew. You will see everything the show can be on November 25th. The show evolves before your eyes. Bring some tissues and hang on.
Whoa!
I like that. Looking forward to it. I hope this thing succeeds. I mean, I was
very disappointed when I drove by Straight and Associates downtown, and they've already taken the sign down.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, the sign's gone.
Maybe somebody stole it.
It's back to whatever that. I don't know what is in that building, but it's back to whatever that was.
Well, I hope it succeeds.
Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Hey, congratulations to the Memphis Sports Council and everybody involved in bringing a half Ironman to Memphis in 2020. The newest Ironman 70.3 event is coming to Memphis at Shelby Farms on October 3rd, 2020. The Ironman is crazy. But even a half Ironman is
it's insane.
I guess you say it's half as crazy. It is nuts how much you have to do. Obviously, it's running,
once
biking,
you reach
and
an
swimming.
Insanity level, you can't be half of that. It's 1.2 mile swim, 56 miles on a bike, and then 13 miles of running. Now the true Ironman is double all that,
right?
Which is
right.
But it's all insane. I don't even understand. The human body is not made to do that.
Yet people continue to push the boundaries, and we'll have some elite athletes in Memphis next October. So congratulations on being able to get that event to Shelby Farms.
Well, some bad news and some alarming news for a guy who has some serious problems. Mark Walton, former Dolphins running back now. Mark Walton has been cut by the Dolphins. He had been serving a 4-game suspension as a result of 3 arrests that he had during the offseason. When this suspension was handed down, the statement from Walton was, as most of you know, I was involved in some incidents this offseason that I am now receiving a 4-game suspension for. I want to apologize to the Miami Dolphins, the fans, my friends, and family, and I take full responsibility for my actions. I want to thank the Dolphins for giving me this opportunity and will make the most of this chance as a person and player when I return. Well, he's not going to return because he was arrested early this morning, accused of punching a woman several times in the face and head, and the police say the woman is 5 weeks pregnant with his child.
Jeez.
So I'm going to guess
he's
Mark,
not playing again.
Yeah, Mark,
ever.
Not only will you not be returning to the Dolphins, you will not be returning to the NFL. You are really arrested 3 times in the offseason and now arrested here while serving the suspension for the offseason arrests.
Not good.
I mean,
that's sad.
Some knuckleheads are knuckleheads.
Yeah.
Like that, it's...
Well,
people don't generally change. Like, you are what you are generally.
Speaking of knuckleheads, wide receiver Antonio Brown posted an apology to Patriots owner Robert Kraft on Instagram today. Brown wrote, "Mr. Kraft, I apologize sincerely to you and your organization. All I wanted to be was an asset to the organization. Sorry for the bad media and the drama. Thank you sincerely, AB." So there you go. Big thanks to Steve Macy, Don Wade, and Connor O'Gara for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow we're back starting at 10. Got a great lineup for you. The Hall of Fame sports writer, basketball writer Dick Weiss is going to join us. Howard Balzer is going to join us to talk some football, an old acquaintance of Eli and Gabe. Jerry Palm, Sigmund Bloom, we'll have dinner and a movie. Big show starting at 10. Stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. It is coming up next.
Don't forget to go to sport56whbq.com to sign up for the Home for the Holidays contest. You can win your house paid for a year. Rent, house payment, whatever it is, a full year of payments. And all you got to do is go enter at sport56whbq.com.
For Gabe Kuhn and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Stay tuned for Johnny. He's next. This is Middays. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Bill, you can keep your bills, friend. It's all going to pot.
I love fall. The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Drew invites you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, daily check-in, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
The holidays